Good morning, my Teaserking family. As you can see, it's gotten cold here. It's finally like 50 degrees or whatever. Well. So let's look at gold. 40.37. So it broke through 4,000 last night. About 11 o'clock, I was watching it. And then it got up to 40.50. And now it's roughly right around there, 40.37. Silver was just 49.10. Now pulling back to 48.93 at 10 a. It's the 10 a.m. fix, so we'll see. But it will go over. It will get to 50. So questions. Well, is it going to stay? Is it going to go? Why is it so high? Well, we've covered all that crap. It's high because of BRICS and the demand, and COMEX cannot keep price fixing it because China says no, we're not letting it. And all the banks are lying now, except for the Fed, who's not a real bank. They don't know what the hell they are. So we will see it just keep going up and up and up. Now, as I said, the difference is a stock has a value, right? Amazon's $100 and the stock price goes to 200. That's over that. I think I might actually go to the doctor today, get my antibiotics. That's the whole key to it. Its stock price is over the value of the company. That's what a bubble is. Your house, $500,000 for a $300,000 house, is over value. It's over the market. But with gold, it's not overvalued. That's the difference with gold. The value of gold is not 4,000. What do we add here? 4042. But the real value of gold's much higher. So this is kind of the inverse to the stock market. So where the stock market is different, this isn't. So keep that in mind. The stock market values are way over what they should be. And that's the difference. Let me turn over my pita before I burn that, as usual. So I just finished my walk, and I got to run to the library to print off some of my pages. Excuse me. I know it's just plugged, and I got the hack. Anyway, that's what's happening. So gold and silver is because of demand, so we're fine. It's not like it's going to fall. Oh, aha, it was a joke. It's really 1,000. No, this is going up. My friend said that they're going to crash the dollar in October. And I said, but what are they going to replace it with? You can't crash something without a replacement in finance. You need money. All right, just a second. Let me get my coffee. Man, that cough's worse today than it's been in a week and a half. It's mostly the draining part of it. Anyway. So that's the difference between stocks and gold and silver, where stocks are valued much higher than they're worth. But gold, we don't know what it's worth, but we know it's worth a lot more than 4,000. And it's just keep accumulating. You're buying inventory. I don't like the word gold, like you're hoarding gold, like it's something negative. That's smart to hoard gold, to collect, to keep your inventory higher. That's smart. And they don't want you to see, they want to brainwash you into the stock market, because that's where all these idiots make all their money. Screw everybody. It's all the banks in the stock market, right? JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, Chase. They make a lot of money on your stocks. They don't make any money on your gold unless you're in an ETF, but we don't play paper, we only play physical. So that's where we're at. Silver 49.01, gold 40.43. So it's moving up. So very happy that it broke 4,000. I thought it might have a little bit of problem because in the news they've got to report gold 4,000, right? Maybe they won't. Maybe you won't see a detail on it. Hey, Luke, good morning. Now, Luke asked me $250 silver. And I got a Daria comment for you, Luke. When you got a chance, we'll talk on the phone. She's playing games again. Gold and silver rocking, yes. So 49.01. Silver will get stuck until 50. When it finally breaks 50, it goes to 100. Just like gold, as it broke 3,000, it quickly gathered to 3,500, then got stuck there because of the summer. And as soon as it hit 3,600, it went right to 4,000, and it had no problem breaking 4,000. The cat's out of the bag pretty much for gold. Like, we know to buy gold, and 4,000, they can't really suppress it. So it's just going to keep going, 4,500 to 5,000 to 10,000, because it's worldwide, as is silver. But there is no inventory for silver on COMEX. They've got to buy it to cover the shorts, which they can't do. And it's going to cost them a lot more. And that's why you see these prices going up, because the demand for gold and silver are huge. Anytime you have demand with low supply, you have huge prices. I think when it breaks 50, heading to 60 before end of year, I think that'll happen in October. Look how fast it went from 40 to 50, right? It's 49. It'll break 50. Once it breaks 50, you'll see 51. Like today, it's up $1.23. Again, I don't understand, but gold's up $61. Well, why isn't silver up $61? Right? Why is it always $1.20 or 80 cents or 50 cents? Why is it like that? But we don't get $60 silver. Well, I think that's going to happen soon. But yeah, once it breaks 50, it'll just $1 a day. It'll be 60. It'll be 70. It'll be 100. And once it breaks 100, then it just Katie barred the door, goes to 2 to 3 to 5. And now keep in mind, this is the whole world buying it. This is China and Russia and Saudi Arabia. I mean, this is everybody buying gold and silver on the physical market. This is why you see it reacting like this. You think we could be at 75 end of year? Oh, absolutely. I think by Thanksgiving we could be 75. We could be 100 by the end of the year. Once it gets going and people buy it, There's no stopping it. The only stop has been COMEX shorting it. The Eddie Murphy's doing the short derivative options. That's what's been stopping silver. But that's just about gone because they need to cover the shorts. People are asking for delivery. They have to deliver. That's what Basel 3 is all about. That's why we're so excited July 1st with Basel 3. So they have to cover it. There's no going down. There's nobody shorting. Nobody in there. Only the Fed still playing these stupid games, shorting gold and silver. Like, yeah, that'll work. These guys are got to be the dumbest people I've ever seen. You can't short something that's in huge demand. Are you out of your mind? So, yeah, I mean, 75 could be there by Thanksgiving. I hear dealers running out of physical. Well, they're pretty much out of physical. My guy has some, but not like he used to. But they can still get stock. Like if my guy needs, but he sells a lot of bullion. My guys, I might go wander over there maybe tomorrow or Friday and just check in what's going on. He's like, I missed you. Where have you been? And then customers will ask him questions, and he refers them to me. He's the guy that knows what's going on. Because I called for 3,500 gold when it was 2,000. He says, quit scaring my employees. I go, I'm not scaring them. I'm just telling them what's going to happen. The dollar's worthless and gold and silver will go to the moon. And that's why you're a gold and silver store. And they were scared. And then, there you go. So he realizes that I know what's going on. Then what? Well, the price goes up. We have gold and silver. You have silver. At what point are you willing to sell it for, if at all? Now, I don't recommend you selling a lot of it, but you can sell 20 ounces or something. You got all your boxes. Oh, you want to give me 500 an ounce? Yeah, I'll sell you 20 of them. That's what will happen. As the price goes up, you start going, yeah, I can sell at that point. And that's when you sell it. When the price starts moving higher, then it's worth your while to sell. But I won't sell gold at 4,000 because this is a joke. This will be 10. And even then, I don't know. The only way I'll sell it if I want to go on a vacation, and I'll pay for it with the gold. Or I want to do something and I have the gold money, so I'll sell an ounce, get the money, and then go do something with it directly. So I'm not selling gold to profit take and put it in the bank. That would be the stupidest thing you could do, because you're back in monopoly money. That's worthless. So you never want to profit take gold and silver. That's the stupidest thing, because you don't want to be in this. You want to get out of it. That's the whole point. Getting off the Titanic into the lifeboat. Well, you're not going to get out of the lifeboat back on the Titanic as it's sinking. So it's only if you need money to do something, and we will go from there. So then the price goes, and then there's still the gold and silver are out there, right? The central banks have a bunch. We have some. We have ounces. They have tons. That's the difference. So it's still available. I mean, it's not like it's gone. It's just cleaned out of COMEX and cleaned out. And it's just a matter of waiting for the price to meet where people are willing to sell it. Which, why would anybody sell it at these cheap prices? We know they've been price fixed, and we know the price is really much lower than it should be. And as I was saying, Amazon stock, the value of the company is 100, but the stock sells for 2. That's a bubble. That's overvalued. We get that. But in this case, gold is somewhere up here, and COMEX is down here. So we don't know what this price is for gold. My guess about 20,000. And even then, it's really still go higher, because it's a unique feature that we're doing is we're getting out of dollars to buy the gold, and you need the gold. So it doesn't matter what the price is. If you have enough dollars to buy it, you buy it. And it's not, is it a fair price? It's all about obtaining the metal and getting out of your dollars. So if you have 100, so people ask me, do I have enough? How much should I have? Well, if you still have dollars, you still need to get rid of them because they're worthless. They're worth zero. These wars, Trump with his idiot policies, the whole thing has made the dollar worthless. And some people run into Bitcoin. That is not the answer. That is not money. You're better off in Mano cards than you are in Bitcoin, to tell you the truth. You're better off in gold and silver than you are in Bitcoin. So in gold, you just went from 3,500 to 4,040 in a couple by what, September? What's the return on investment there? Let's see. The return on investment for the last 30 days is 9%, 337. But if you go 6 months, it's 29% return on something worth $4,000. Right. So that's a pretty healthy return. Silver, I don't know. So right now, silver right around 49. Silver, it's money. I don't know why people don't think it's money, or they'll say, well, it's not priced as money. Well, the price is controlled by COMEX, so don't go there. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Luke, the last 10 years, you're better off in Bitcoin by $1 million. Now it seems like silver is beating it and can pull off the scale when priced nominally. Well, I disagree with you. The last 10 years, you're better off in Bitcoin because Bitcoin's not real. So I'm not going to say something that's not real is a better option than gold and silver. And 10 years ago, what? Gold and silver was probably, well, gold was probably 1,500. So that's tripled. But the difference is gold's real. Bitcoin's not. So you could pull the same thing by saying, hey, I'm in Amazon stock or Nivea. That's been better than gold. Yeah, but it's not worth anything. The point you keep missing is it's in dollars. And dollars aren't worth anything. So you could be stacked with $1 million in your bedroom and not realizing, but it's not worth anything. Look in 1923 in Germany, they had the wheelbarrow full of money. It wasn't worth anything. They would then wallpaper their houses with the money because they weren't worth anything. So even though you had 1 billion Deutschmarks, they didn't have a value. And that's the part that everybody keeps not grasping that concept. It's not worth anything. Bitcoin isn't worth anything. Just because it's worth $100,000. But if the dollar isn't worth anything because they print it to death, so's your Bitcoin. It's an easy concept, but everybody wants to fight it because nobody wants to go, oh yeah, my $100,000 Bitcoin's worthless. Well, it is. I'm only the messenger telling you it is. You keep wanting to believe it's worth a Bitcoin, which is not real. It's digital, so it doesn't have a value. So keep that in mind. I know it's a struggle. Like your 401k isn't worth anything. You just have to understand it isn't. And it's not me. I didn't make it worthless. Your friendly neighborhood government did, making it worthless. Do gold? Well, not really. The gold has value, but not the stock itself because it's in dollars. Again, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Stocks are valued in dollars, have no value. They're going to outperform in dollars, which they have been by 30% in the past year. Yes, but they're in dollars. And that's the key. Now, what should happen is the dollar should be replaced by US #2 or something along those lines. we'll see. I mean, let's see, Luke. I guess when you can't sell for physical because it's sold out, it won't matter. Oh, you'll be able to sell for physical. Gold and silver are not sold out. COMEX doesn't have any physical available, right? And this is the problem. They don't have physical. They're not. So it's sold out in COMEX, so they can't cover the when people want delivery, right? So they buy the short in gold and they go, I want delivery of the gold. The whole reason people are buying in COMEX is because it's much cheaper than the real world. This 4,000, it's 4044 right now. Okay. They cannot buy, China cannot buy physical gold for 4044, right? It's probably 4,300 for China to buy gold. But COMEX, since it's fucking around playing games, they can get for this 4044, but it's not available. It's not a real price. It's a fantasy price. So nobody can actually buy it. And silver at 49. Well, where can you buy silver for 49? I can go to my guy's store. He's going to charge me 51. I don't know why they're still doing a $2 premium, but I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to say thank you very much. So he's only $2 over. Now, my guess is what'll happen is my guy's 97%. So if I take in an eagle, he'll give me 97% of 4044, which is roughly 3,900 for my ounce of gold. So he wants to charge me a little commission. My guess is as this goes, and we see 5,000, he's going to not charge it anymore. So he won't have any inventory to sell, and he's a store, and he relies on the selling part of it to pay rent. So then he'll say, oh, we'll do it even. I'll give you 100% spot for your gold. And gold at 5,000, you'll actually get 5,000 because there's nothing out there. It's gone. It's all in China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, India. Nobody here has it except for us, right? So that'll be the difference. But your stocks, you're going to have trouble. The banks are all going to collapse because the banks are short, the bullion banks, Citi, JP Morgan, Chase. I'm not sure if Wells Fargo is part of that. USBS, the Hong Kong one, HSBC, I believe. They're all broke because they are up to their nose in derivatives that they've shorted. So they have these shorts that they have to cover, which means at 2,500, I'm shorting gold and I'm going to buy it at 2,400. Only it didn't go down. It went up to 3 to 4 now. They've got to cover those. They're broke because they're multiple. They're like $1 trillion and they're fucked. So they have to do that, and they're going to steal your stocks. So JP Morgan, hey, we need the money. We need the money to cover. So you know what? Yeah, Luke, you got miners. Well, you can't get it because it's not yours. It's really ours. The money in the bank and the money in the stocks are not really your money. It's really the banks or whoever, JP Morgan or Citi or whoever you're running through. You have to understand that and be careful about that. That's why I would be getting my money out, especially at this ridiculous price of 46,000. We're in a recession, probably a depression. We have tariffs, which are making goods cost more, which means less sales. Why the fuck is the stock market going up? Are you kidding me? So all that is just put in by the Fed. They're printing money, putting it in the stock, saying, hey, look, the stock market's good. It's all Ponzi scheme, Madoff 101. They're trying to have you look at the stock market, not look at the gold market. The gold market's the true sign. Hey, 43 is gold. There's a problem. There's heavy inflation, but nobody will acknowledge it. Nobody's going to sit there and go, yeah, that's, excuse me. Nobody's going to, they're just going to point you to the look, but look at the stock market's doing well. So the economy's doing well. I can't get a job. I mean, Social Security is fine. But if I go work at a bank, I can't get Social Security. Well, I'd rather get Social Security. It's the same amount and I don't have to work versus going to work and losing Social Security and then paying a tax because I made so much Social Security this year. So there's no incentive for me to work unless it's a finance job paying me $100,000, which I can't seem to find. I'm probably too old for it. Anyway, so Luke, I guess when you can't sell for physical, it won't matter. You'll sell your physical. I can go to the coin store tomorrow and hey, here's an ounce of gold. The guy's going to give me $4,000. So I'm not quite sure what you're saying. As far as the gold miners, the China and Russia are going right to the miners and pulling their inventory. So I'm not sure how much inventory they have, but it's in dollars. So I'm not, I don't know why you're wasting your time in miners. Oh, I can make money. No, you can't because the money you're making is worthless. You're making wheelbarrow money. Is that worth making? So that's where I kind of differ from you, Luke. You keep wasting your time and making money in dollars. And I keep saying, but you don't want to make money in dollars. You want to make money in real gold and silver. Because the money you're making isn't worth anything to make. When I can't sell my miners for physical gold because physical gold is not available. No, you'll be able to, but it'll be so expensive. You'll be paying $10,000 an ounce for it. You'll be able to find it. My guy can still get 10 ounces, but you got to buy 10 ounces from him. That's $40,000. So you got to come up with 40,000 to give him for 10 ounces. I've already given him my 40 grand for 20 ounces 5 years ago. So no, you'll always be able to find physical. It's just now it's 4,000. Soon it'll be 5. Then it'll be 10. And do you have that money? You'll be able to find it. You can go to my guy's store. He'll always have something or be able to get it for you. That's not the issue. It's just going to cost you more. That'll be the issue because there's the gold's out there, but they need to buy it. And the seller, so let's say they go to China. Well, you want to buy from me? It's going to be $6,000 an ounce. And that's the thing. Or Russia, or you go to the mine or Dubai or wherever, they'll have it. It's there. We have gold. We have our gold, but we don't want to sell it at these cheap prices, but we can do it down the road. We can sell it and go from there. So that's the key to it. You can always buy it. You can always buy it at the right price and find it. So like right now, 4,040. I can go to my guy's store and pay $41.42 for it. He probably doesn't have any, but he can order me some. He can always go to the mint and order or through his sources. So it's always available. It's just the price. and you can see where it's at, and it's just going, and the demand's huge. So if you're going to sell your stocks, you're going to pay, let's say, 5,000 an ounce for it. And you want to tell me how the stocks are outperforming, and I'm going, you're out of your mind. They're not outperforming. The gold is going through the roof. I mean, it's 40, 44 right now. The gold keeps going up. And that's the bottom line, is you're not interacting with it. You're saying, well, look at my miners, look at them going up. But you're in dollars and you're not making, but the dollars are worth nothing. If you have gold and the gold went from 3,000 to now 4,000, you made $1,000 an ounce. And you're ignoring it. You're going, well, but look at my stock. It went up $20 or whatever. I don't know what stocks you have. I know you got miners, and I don't know what the value is. You want to talk percentage. You might have a $2 stock that went to $3, and you're going, look at the percentage. I don't know. I haven't checked Newmont Mining. I really don't care, because I got the best thing, which is the physical. And that's really what you want to have, because you can see the physical price. That's what I say. This is the problem. What is an ounce of gold? Oh, it's 40, 44. What is this worth? Well, it has a 5 on it, so I guess 5. No, it doesn't. It won't buy you $5, €5 worth of goods. Well, this says a dollar on it. Well, let's say I had 100. It says 100 on it. But what's it worth? Nothing. I go to the grocery store with $100. I buy 5 items. There's no value in the 100 anymore. So as your stock goes up, and it goes up $10,000, but there's no value in it. Look at Bobby's contract, right? He gets $1.1 million every July 1st. What's that worth? Maybe $10,000. It's not worth $1.1 million. The best thing Bobby can do is take that $1.1 million and run, not walk, to the gold store and buy $1 million worth of gold with it. Obviously, after taxes. That's the only thing and best thing he can do. But if he holds the money and puts it in the bank or buys stocks, he's a fool, because that's not worth anything. So you've got to get the concept. The money is not worth anything. That's hence the wheelbarrows. Wheelbarrows in Zimbabwe, wheelbarrows in Sri Lanka, wheelbarrows in Germany. God knows what happened in the Roman Empire if they had wheelbarrows. But it's not. The gold, the value of the dollar is by the gold and silver backing it. And once you take the backing off of it, now I said I was watching a Leave It to Beaver episode in the 60s, and Beaver and Wally went to the movies, and Ward's like, I want the change. He gives him $1 and he's freaking out. I want that quarter. Now we wouldn't even care. We'd give the kid $20 and keep the change. So a quarter had value back. This is in the 60s, right? That's when money had value. Give me the change. I want the quarter. There was 25 cents for the movie, 10 cents for the pop and the candy, and give me back the change. I mean, that's how money had value. Now it's $20 to go to a movie, I guess. Who goes to a movie now? You just watch Netflix or whatever. So people are confused by what the value of the money is. It doesn't have value. That's why you go to the store and it's a $3 Coke for a 2-liter. It's this was like $1.79 for a peach. My avocados I'm getting for sometimes $1.29, but they're kind of soft. They try to charge you $2.29, and then when they turn soft, they charge you $1. And so you try to find something that's a little firm so you can still eat it, because then they get no good. But that's the point. They're printing the money to zero, and they keep doing it every month. They got to pay the interest on the debt, the Social Security and Medicare, and the government employees. Now the government shut down. Well, I still got Social Security. My friend works for the DOD. He's not working. How long will the government not work? Well, it should be never, because they can't pay them. So, as I like to say about the ice cream store, we got 20 employees, but we don't have any revenue. Nobody's buying ice cream cones. I got to lay the 20 people off because I can't afford to pay them. And that's really what the government is. They can't afford to pay the employees because they don't get any revenue. So what are they supposed to do? Well, we got to cut the employees or find a way to make revenue. But since we're the government, we don't make revenue. They like to think taxes are revenue. Taxes aren't revenue. Taxes are me going to work and you going to work, and they're stealing money from us. I didn't agree to give you money. Why are you stealing my money? I make $100. Why are you taking 20 of it? No, 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 no. I went to work for it. It's how Say's law said, I go to work, you pay me for it. Well, you're not entitled to 20% of my earnings. What kind of crap is that? So that's government at its finest, and we'll do road construction and put people to work that way. That'll get us out of the recession because then they'll go shopping and that'll stimulate the economy, except for you didn't make any revenue from it. So you're in a negative expense. You're paying the people to do the roads, but you're not getting money in for it. They're not toll booths. You didn't get money for it. You're just spending money. Well, that's back to the ice cream place. Well, we'll buy more sundaes and we'll buy more chocolate syrup and cones and ice cream, but we're not making money. So our expense went up, but this way um, we'll have more ice cream, even though nobody's buying it. I watched this Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay. It's got to be the stupidest show I've ever seen in my life. You have people, I was watching the one yesterday. So you have two people who are married, who have no experience running a restaurant, and they decide to buy a restaurant. How hard can it be? Well, the husband doesn't even work. He just sits out, goes home, goes to sleep. And the wife doesn't know what she's doing. And the staff just takes advantage and it's losing money. Well, it's like somebody buying stock or betting on football games. If they don't know what they're doing, they're not going to win at it. This is why, in football, you identify the team. It's important to identify the team. What type of team are they? A good team, a bad team, a high-scoring team, a low, good defense, or a shit team? You have to understand that before you can even make a bet. Who are you betting on? Well, I like their guy got blue uniforms. I'll bet on them. No. So that's what they're doing, trying to run a restaurant. And then Gordon Ramsay comes in and it's all this emotional crap. Oh, I thought I could run a restaurant. Gordon, I need I need your help, Gordon. And Gordon, like an idiot, tries to be peace talker. And then it's always, well, we'll redo your restaurant, put in new tablecloths and new tables. Then we'll have a new menu. And we'll have 5 items that I prepare. And I'm a gourmet Michelin chef, and you're at mom and pop Joe Blow's. So of course everybody wants it because it's gourmet food. They get cheap, but then they don't know how to make it. And then, they don't know how to run the restaurant. They don't know how to run the kitchen or anything. Their prices are probably nowhere near market. They lie. They say it's fresh and it's microwaved or it's frozen. I honestly don't understand how any restaurant can be fresh because they're okay. I mean, I go to the grocery store, I freeze my chicken. Now I'm defrosting it and I'm going to cook it. Is it fresh or frozen? Well, I had to freeze it. Otherwise, I'd have to go to the grocery store every day, get chicken, make it fresh. But it tastes fine if I thaw it and let it run. It's okay. But who can? So what are you going to throw away your chicken and your steaks every day? So you're going to go buy enough that you think, well, I'm going to have 50 people, so I'm going to have 50 orders. That's bullshit. You can't get to that level. And then you're going to make it fresh. And you think you can charge $200 for a hamburger, or like what they're doing in Vegas, $30 for a hamburger. Yeah. You know what? I'll go to McDonald's or Wendy's and pay $6 for one or whatever. People aren't going to pay. You don't know what your market is. So the biggest problem with the show is these people don't understand what a market is, what they can sell it for, their competition. Then Gordon comes in and it's the same thing. Everybody cries and then he changes the inside, changes the menu, and hopes everybody like that's not gonna work. You have to understand how to run a restaurant. So anyway, that's and it's the same story every time. These idiots are losing. They call Gordon like Gordon's the big savior, the savior of Rome, and he comes in and he talks. Oh, you guys don't have passion. You guys don't want to be here. No, they don't. They don't give a fuck. They're losing money. They don't know how to make money. They never should have bought a restaurant in the first place. So shut the fuck up, Gordon. You don't know what you're talking about. No, they don't know. They don't have passion. They're not Michelin chefs like you. And they can't charge $300 for a hamburger like you do. So yeah, you're a big star because you can make gourmet food. They can't. So then he leaves and then it falls apart. And then we get to the next one. He goes to another one, and then the people are always fighting, and but it's the same show every time, and it's like you got to be kidding. Anyway, that's the key: is you've got to understand your market, understand what you're doing, sell it for profit. What's my cost? What's my profit? Can I charge? Can I, fresh? Can I actually make fresh hamburger every day? What am I going to buy 5 pounds of hamburger from the grocery store and keep it? And hopefully I make 5 pounds of hamburger every day. What if I need 10? The whole inventory to not freeze it is ridiculous. Or how long can you keep it in the fridge? Maybe I can keep fresh hamburger 2 or 3 days in there. So maybe I buy 10 pounds and then every third day buy 10 more and throw out what I didn't sell. But it seems very complex for these idiots. Anyway, yeah, don't worry. Physical gold will always be available. It's the price you'll have to pay. I mean, there's 200,000 tons of physical gold. The fact China owns most of it and Russia and the BRICS countries doesn't mean it's not out there. It doesn't mean you can't get it, which you can. It's just that'll be the key to it. And that's it. So look for gold and silver to keep jumping. And let's go into college football. So college is a pain because there's so many games. We're trying to learn the teams. I was looking at a team yesterday, and they had played a high school team, they had played a weak MAC team. I think it was Missouri, right? They played Kansas and South Carolina. Then they played a high school team and they played a weak MAC team. Who's Missouri? All we know is they beat a good Kansas team, I thought. And now they got Alabama coming. And I'm like, how do I read this team? Alabama -3. They just beat Georgia. They just beat, they did lose to Florida State, and then they beat Georgia. And then they just beat my Vandy team. A close game. Now, you're trying to analyze, well, what's going to happen in this game? What are they going to do against, whatchamacallit? What are they going to do against, who are they playing? Missouri. How good is Missouri? Well, they beat Kansas. Beating Kansas, South Carolina is not like beating Georgia and Florida or whatever. There seemed to be a good team, but we don't know. Okay. Alabama, we know, beating Georgia and Vanderbilt. Will they be flat? I don't think so. I think they'll look forward to this. I do like the coach. I like Missouri's coach too. Their quarterback looks better. He was young. He never played before. So that first game against Florida State, they were lost, and now they're playing better. So they can't really afford a loss So I look at the line of 3 and I go, wow, this seems pretty low, 3 points. So, I'm leaning towards Alabama. Just because I think they're the better team than Missouri, based on what they've showed right now. So what we're trying to do is figure out the team. How good's Alabama? How good's Missouri? And it's really difficult because when we're looking at who they played, what's my line on this? I didn't do lines. It's just too much right now. Where is the game? Don't know. Here it is. So Alabama's 353.5. And you're going, God, that seems low. It seems like Alabama should be a touchdown better based on who Missouri's played. Yes, give them credit for Kansas because they got a good quarterback. And the other Jalen Daniels for Kansas. But they were able to put up 35 points on them. So that's pretty good. But I'm not sure Kansas has defense. They gave up 37 to Cincinnati. So you can see how it becomes harder and harder to process the predicted outcome. Because I can't just sit there. I can say Alabama beat Georgia. That's a good win. They will be able to play with Missouri. But I can't say Missouri can play with Alabama. And we're in week 7. And it's the high school game and the MAC game that throw you off and throws the stats off. So I'm trying to just go through the conference games or the last 4 or 5 games, but I really don't have enough data. But this is the problem with college, with the high school game and the MAC game. It really, or the Sun Belt game, it really, you've got to kind of throw that out and just go to the 2 or 3 games that you have. So I would think Alabama minus the 3, and in our world, you get 3, is good. I'd find it Alabama plus 3. I can't see them losing to Missouri, but we don't know how good Missouri. See, now after this game, after the game, we'll know how good Missouri is. They beat Alabama. They're what we thought. We know Alabama lost to Florida State, beat Georgia. So we kind of know what Alabama is. Do I go over in the game? Possibly. They played a 24-21 game with Georgia, which should have been at least 27-24. So it should be a 50-point game. Georgia's defense woke up, but I'm not sure Missouri. I got a 14 defense, but it's not real. I got a defense that gave up 20 to South Carolina and 31 to Kansas. I got a 25 defense. So when I'm baffled by the team, I then go to the total. What kind of game do I think it's going to be? Over or under, or high or low scoring? Usually, if I have good quarterbacks like I have here, I think you're fine. All right. So let's go. This game is October 8th. Where's my date? Oh, okay. So we actually have 2 games today. We got Missouri State and Middle Tennessee. Missouri State 2.5, 49.5. This was down from 51. And we got Liberty 1.5, 46.5 against UTEP. Okay, so who are the teams? So Missouri State's a W team. They got killed by USC. They got killed by another team. So it skews their defense. Not really a 31 in this case because it's Middle Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee I got as a Z team, also with the 31 defense. But the fact Missouri State played USC and played another team, they played better competition, but they're a road favorite. So we can't go road favorite with Middle Tennessee or Missouri State, even though Middle Tennessee's not good. They're not good enough. So it's just a no play. Liberty, I got as an under team with the 23 defense, and UTEP is a W with the 26 defense. UTEP's just not very good. Neither's Liberty this year. 23 defense, 26. So it's 1.5, 46.5. Can I go over or under? I have no clue. Can I take UTEP as a home dog? I have no clue. I don't know how good Liberty is. So it turns into these are Conference USA games. Just stay the fuck away. If it's a Saturday, you're never looking at these games. And the fact that they made it Wednesday is for the betting only. So avoid. All right. Then it gets us to Thursday. Thursday, we have 4 games. So we start off with Tech and Kennesaw State, which I still don't have a line. I have to get a line, but I'm not really that interested in it. The total is 45. Tech's a B team. Kennesaw State's an under team. Well, I got to get a line for it. This is crazy. How did they not give me a line? All right, here. Tech -6. 46.5. Morning, Titus. You need to double check your picks. That TCU did go over in a teaser. It was 50 something, and it ended 35-21. It was a 56. I think in your straight bet, I think we lost by 1, but in the teaser, it should have won. And I didn't see you mark it as a W, so maybe double check that. But TCU over was a winner. It was a winner in my teasers. So double check that because you might have a winner you think you lost. Although I didn't see all the games. Maybe we had Buffalo and lost, or Kansas City. I had Kansas City +3 in a teaser and +2.5 in a teaser. So be careful. Oh, you won that teaser. Okay, very good. Yeah, you had some nice ones there. A lot of W's. I'm really zeroed in pretty much now. Most of the teams, I kind of know who I'm going to play. You know, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the USC. I pretty much have a feel for. You got to watch like the UCLA, who was terrible, who switched coaches and coordinators and goes and beats Penn State. Now we're like, okay. But that's how I got Cam Rising, and that's how I got Van Dyke. Florida, Miami was floundering, and they switched to Van Dyke, and they scored 40 points a game. And it's the same thing here. I guarantee you this UCLA total is way low. Let's see if where that is. UCLA. I think they play this week. Maybe not. It's probably a noon game. No, I can't see them. Maybe they're off this week. No, I thought they played. UNLV. UTSA. Utah. No, Utah State. No, I don't think I have them. But now you got to figure out UCLA. I mean, they suck. They're a Z team. They can't score. Now they light up Penn State for 50 points, and now you're going, wait a minute. I guarantee you the UCLA total will be different. God, they were playing this week. Frustrating. I can't find. Well, as we go through the games, maybe I'll find them. I don't see them. Anyway, that's the problem. And that's what's good. That's how we take huge advantage. They're going to give us a total of 45, and UCLA is going to cover that by themselves because now they got an offensive coordinator who knows how to call plays. And they're look what they did to Penn State. I mean, that's a real team, Penn State. You saw I lost that 40K by 2. I didn't go through all your slips, but I'll take a look at that one. By 2 points or 2 teams? And I hope it wasn't like Buffalo was one of them, but I mean, if we lost because of Buffalo, then I'm pretty pissed. TCU over 57.5, and it landed on 56. Yeah, okay, because in the teaser, it was a 56, and I did win it. Yeah, that was weird. They should have scored more. They always are worth more. I think that when they play Colorado, I think. TCU, yeah, Colorado, 35-21. Yeah, Colorado got 21. I thought TCU would score more. I thought they'd score in the 50s at home. But, yeah, that sucks. They're an over team. Them and Baylor, you just keep pounding them over. Anyway, so what do you do with the UCLA now? They've switched, but Vegas will never catch on because this is the beauty of fucking with AI. They'll look at the total points and divide it up and say they're a 30. The total on the game is 42. But they've changed. The offense has changed. That's how we caught them with Utah and Miami of Florida. And we bet them both over every game. And they were in the 40s and they were scoring 60 points a game. But their average was still blending in with the earlier games. And that's how you catch them. And Vegas will fuck up the UCLA line. But we'll just have to, I guess, when they play. Okay, so so we finally, LTech is 645. They're a B team against Kennesaw State. Again, I don't really want to go to Conference USA. They're a bunch of bad teams. I think the A team there is Western Kentucky. Okay, that we can play or play against the Z team, but I don't like Missouri State as a W playing the Z team. Let's see what else we got. East Car and Tulane 754.5. These are tomorrow's games. Tulane 754.5. Tulane is struggling. They're an E team. They played a pretty good schedule. 24 defense. East Car is an A team with the 13. They were pretty good. I think East Car, now here, they're probably a live dog. You get an A team as plus 13. Now, do we have an A team? That's the problem. Is East Car really an A team, even though they're scoring a lot and they're giving up a little? Then it goes, it's like horse racing, the level of competition. Is this the Kentucky Derby or is this the Florida handicap where the horses have 3 legs? And that's it. So right away you would look at East Car. So what I'm doing now is going, okay, let me look at it. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to punch it up. And we're going to go into the game. Something went wrong, really? Okay. So we jump into here and we scroll all the way down where the scores are. So now we're here, and the top's Tulane, or the top is East Car and the bottom's Tulane. So now we can see who they played. So we've got Tulane as an E team. Well, they beat Northwestern, who sucks. South Alabama, 33-31 isn't much. They do beat Duke. That's a good win. They get killed by Ole Miss, and then they play Tulsa, and they beat Tulsa. So they're pretty good. And the one game that was good was Ole Miss. They got killed, and in Duke, they did beat Duke. So Tulane's not a bad team, with their only loss being Ole Miss. But then we look here to East Carr, and they lost to NC State. Campbell, Division II, throw out. Coastal Carolina, Z team, 38-0. They lose to BYU 34-13 and beat the Army. Beating the Army is not that great of a team. They're not that great this year. So the one game they play, well, the two, they played BYU and North Carolina State. Well, that's the first week, North Carolina. So we look at the BYU game, strong defense, 34-13. Yes, they beat Coastal Carolina, and yes, they beat Army. But in the two games, they gave up 24 to NC State, 34 to BYU. So what do you get out? You got to throw out the Campbell 56-3. So they score, if we just take the 4, 17 and 13 is 30, and 40 is 70, and 30 is 100. So they score 25 a game, and they give up 30, 50, about 15 a game. So they're pretty close to an actual A team. Losing to BYU's, everybody loses to BYU and NC State. So your big win is Army 28-6. Coastal Carolina is a Z team 38-0. So can you take them as a dog to Tulane? And that's really where it is. So we see Tulane beating probably Duke, South Alabama are probably and Northwestern. So they're pretty good wins. I don't really want to bet against Tulane. This is just to show you you've got to kill the Z team. So you kill the Campbell to try to get to the stats to try to figure out what type of team you have. And that's where we're at. So do we really want to play East Carolina? Are they really an A team? Well, that Campbell's thrown in there, so not really. And that's what makes it difficult. But I don't have time. Right now it's a spreadsheet, and I pull in points for, points against, and I just pop them in. And next to the team, so I got a team here, I pop in the points, and then I'm trying to grade it off of that. There's 130 teams to go through as I just did. So what I do is I'll go through now as we get on, it kind of washes out the Campbells and the Division twos. And you kind of, like now Washington's played Ohio State and Maryland. You get a pretty good read on Washington. Ohio State played Texas, played Washington. Okay, we have a good feel for them. Illinois, Indiana. I can just remember what they played, the bigger teams. I can remember those games and go, oh, okay, I got those games. Can I trust them here? So we've got Ohio State. Oh, there's UCLA. Okay. Ohio State and Illinois. Ohio State is 17-50. We'll get the latest line in a minute. Can I trust Illinois? Nobody can score on this Ohio State team. And they beat Texas. Okay, who turns out they suck. And then they did go to Washington and beat them pretty good and held a very explosive Washington team down. And then last week, Ohio State kills Minnesota, but we had them under. So your first thought with Ohio State is go under because they got this great defense. Even with Matt Patricia as their coordinator. You then have Illinois, who's a pretty good team, save the Indiana game. They did beat UCLA at home, but USC at home, but it's a different team. USC is an explosive offense with a decent defense. Ohio State's an explosive defense. I doubt they'll score much. So you're trying to, do I want Illinois in 23? I don't want to go against Ohio State. Ohio State minus 11. Do I go under 56? What do I want to do here? Because Illinois is not going to score much. And so are they going to be enough to cover the, so you're worried about the 11, or do I want to go under 56? Which is probably the way I'll go, but that's the point. You look at it. Let's look at UCLA MSU. As I said, UCLA is now fucked. They don't have the right numbers in for UCLA now because they're looking at the whole year, and we're looking at they switched offensive defensive coordinators, and they blew out Penn State, right? Not, Northwestern. They beat Penn State. So now they go to Michigan State, and Michigan State's 7.5. Total is 55. Is that a right total? What was that score last week against Penn State? Um, they won 42-37. They play a 79 with Penn State, putting up 42 on that defense. Now they're traveling to Michigan State. Are they going to fall asleep? Was it a one-hit wonder? That we don't know, but we do know all of a sudden they found an offense. And with that, is the 55 right? Well, Michigan State should score on them. They're not going to hold them. I think UCLA is going to be loaded up. So I think that 55 is too low because I think that's a full year 55. But they put up 42 last week. This 55 should be 65. And this is where we catch Vegas. There was a Michigan State team in the 1970s run by Eddie Bell, and Kirk Gibson was on the team. Excuse me. And they're playing and nothing much. And they played Notre Dame and they played USC. And all of a sudden it clicked. And they started scoring like 50 points a game. I think after the USC game. And all of a sudden they play in Illinois and Purdue and all these teams. And they're putting up 50 points a game. By halftime, they hit the overs. But Vegas never adjusted. And you're going over every game. Not only over, you just bet Michigan State. They're laying 7 and they're up 42-0 at halftime. It's just one of those things that happen in the middle. It clicks, and then you found gold. And I think that's what we found with UCLA, and that's what we look for. I think we found it with Cincinnati. All of a sudden, they're much better than we thought they were, but we really needed to see them do it. So now we see UCLA beat Penn State. That UCLA USC game, I don't care if the over is 80, I'm going over. That's what you're looking to find, right? That's the difference between us and the average Joes who bet football and handicap. That's what you're looking for. We found it with, like I said, Van Dyke and Cam Rising a few years ago, and now we found it here. And I think it's the play calling of the UCLA guy. The guy was the coach. Newheisel. I mean, this is his kid. Looks like Charlie Brown with they cut it with a bowl, his haircut. But he's apparently a very good offensive coordinator. So we've got gold, and Vegas is clueless. So again, is that 55? I mean, that's the first thing I saw was over, because I know that number. And then the teaser's 49 is a joke. UCLA might get you 49 by themselves. To get you 42 against Penn State, who has a good defense. What was Penn State's defense last week? Penn State had a 12 defense, and they put up 42 on it. Michigan State's got a 30 defense. I mean, this is a joke. I mean, Michigan State has no defense. Good luck against this team. All right. So the Oklahoma quarterback with the broken hand is going to try to play. Oh, that's nice. I'm sure you'll be real effective with a broken hand throwing the ball. All right. So we got Southern Miss. This is, tomorrow. Southern Miss 3.5, 59.5 to Georgia Southern. Southern Miss is good. This is the Marshall team that the coach and the quarterback went from Marshall to Southern Miss, and they've been playing pretty decent. They're an over team, 26 defense. Georgia Southern's an over team with a 37 defense. Probably an over game. This is where I gotta go through the teams to verify what I got here. Is Georgia Southern really an over team? Their defense sucks, but I do believe they played a explosive team. Southern Miss looks very good. I would prefer them as the dog here. I'm not crazy about taking Southern Miss as a road favorite. South Florida, North Texas. This should be very high scoring. South Florida, 1.5, 67.5. They're both A teams. South Florida, we know they beat Boise. We know they beat Florida, who Texas couldn't, right? So now that's a real win. And they lost to Miami. And North Texas, very explosive team. They just have a very offensive-minded coach who can lay it out. The Virginia quarterbacks from North Texas. That's why we like Virginia this year. The quarterback's key. Obviously, North Texas has a quarterback. They're still an A team, still very explosive. So this could be an over, and you can see it's 67.5. So we know we have high-scoring teams. Rutgers, Washington, Friday night. Rutgers gets to travel across country. Washington is 10 and 59.5. Let's see. So Rutgers is an over team. We saw them against Iowa. It was like a 65-point game. Then we saw them on the road, and they played a high-scoring game. So they don't have the same defense they used to have with Schiano. Washington, on the other hand, very good quarterback. Not really explosive as we thought yet. They did blow out Washington State, who looks terrible. So, again, it's Washington at home, Rutgers traveling, and then you've got a total of 59. Seeing how Rutgers seems to be able to score and that defense, and Washington at home should be pretty explosive with the quarterback. The quarterback's good, but we're waiting for him to move to the next level. They struggled against Ohio State, but apparently so does everybody else. So we'll see about that. But Rutgers is not the under team we've been thinking. They are the over team. We've adjusted. We did play them under with Iowa, and that was a 60-point game. We were going, okay, we're not doing that again. But again, we had to wait to see the Iowa game to see that they're not an under team anymore. Fresno State, Colorado State. Fresno State 6.5, 47.5. Fresno's a B team. They started out bad, getting killed by Kansas, and then their quarterback isn't any good, Warner's son, but they've been running the ball well. Colorado State's a W team with the 27. And then I'm confused. I guess Stanford and SMU is a Saturday game. SMU 20-55. Stanford's a W team with a 30 defense. SMU pretty explosive. You're laying 20. 55 you won't get because you're not going to get help from Stanford. I remember somebody asked me about the Ohio game last week, but they were playing a weak offense and they didn't go over. Ohio won, but they didn't go over because the other team wasn't helping them. So they scored like 30-10, but you needed 50-something. So you've got to be careful that both teams are explosive or offensively, like Rutgers and Washington. Both teams are pretty over teams and can score, and then you need a close game. You get one of these 31-0, you're not getting your over because they're not going to keep scoring. They're just working the clock. So you need one of these Baylor games where it's 28-28, and then it's 35-28, 35-33, and you keep going. So that's really the key to the over. You've got to hope it's a close game. I'll go quickly through some of these. Miami, Akron. Miami 11.5, 45.5. To Akron. Akron's a Z team, and Miami's a E team. Toledo, Bowling Green. Toledo 10.5, 49.5. Toledo, the A team in the MAC. Bowling Green's an even team. They're not a Z team. I know it gets confusing in the MAC. Who's the Z team? Which it's Akron, but not Bowling Green. They're an E team. Michigan State 8.5, 55.5. Now this went up from 7.5. Surprising. Why would this game go up? All right, it's at noon. Okay, so we've got this 9 a.m. bullshit that we had with USC in Illinois. I mean, it's really disgusting that they would schedule a West Coast team to play in the Big Ten a noon game. Are you kidding me? So, total of 55. I think the total is still doable. I know UCLA will be tired, but the plays they'll run should I don't see them losing 28-0. Not after putting up 42 on Penn State. I think they'll score. I think they'll be tired. But in the USC Illinois game, you still got over. It was a 64. And I think that's what you'll see here. So I'm not crazy about UCLA and the 14.5 because of the time, but I do think they will. I think they're excited that they won a game finally. So I would say this is going to be high scoring. You put up 42 on Penn State is not a fluke, right? It's a fluke against, Duke or somebody, but it's not a fluke when you do it against Penn State, Ohio State, one of those, Michigan. You put up 40 on those, you're real. So definitely like the over there. And really, it's just the one game. You can't even look at UCLA the rest of the year. You just look at what they did to Penn State, knowing it's not a fluke, knowing Penn State was off the loss to Oregon, and they still put a whoop ass on them. That this team, and because they got a new offensive coordinator, a new coach, they changed variables, which is what we're always looking for. So once we see that and we see this guy is a good offensive coordinator, there you go. And they beat them. So they got the win. All right. Ohio State, 14.5, 49.5. Well, this was 17. And it was 50. We'll just leave 50 alone. Ohio State, what can I say? A team, great defense, shut down Washington. This is Illinois. Illinois, a good team. Yeah, they had that hiccup with Indiana beating SC. Well, that was a lot of it was the time. 49.5, 50. You still got to look under at Ohio State. The question is Illinois' defense. Illinois' got a 24 defense, but it's skewed by the Indiana game giving up 63. You can't really take it out because it's a Big Ten game, but it does show you. I don't think Ohio State is going to put up a 63 on them. At least if I bet it under, I hope not. Ohio State with the 5 defense. Ohio State's winning this game. There's nothing fancy about that. Illinois, I don't see has any chance to win it. And I think it'll be very low scoring because that's what Ohio State's doing. 6 points to Washington. Washington's got a better offense than Illinois. So here I don't really have to go back into this. See, this is where I'm saying I know these teams now. I've seen Ohio State, Texas, Washington, Illinois, Indiana, and then they beat USC. So we know both teams. Like I said, Ohio State, you're not getting you're not putting up 20 points on Ohio State. Ohio State will score. Illinois, a good Dick Buckus is going to play, I think. So you do have that good defense, but forget about it with the offense. You're just not going to score on it. And they're good enough that Ohio State will be scared, so they'll play well. They're not going to ignore it. I think Ohio State would have a tough time if they went to UCLA. I think UCLA would score on them, and they wouldn't be motivated for that one. All right. So there you go. Houston and Oak State. Houston 14.5, 46.5. Houston is a B team. Disappointing. Thought they'd be better. Willie Fritz, I really like the coach, but they got manhandled by Texas Tech last week, which apparently is the A team in that conference. They whooped Utah and they whooped Houston. So against the good defensive teams, Texas Tech is the man. Oak State's a Z team with a terrible 36 defense. The coach is gone. Total 1447. It's hard to go over in a Houston game because they just have a good defense and they don't score a lot. So I don't know. I'm sticking away from Houston. At this point, I don't know who they are because they're really not playing that strong defense either. Now we get to Alabama, Missouri. Alabama 3 and 51.5, down from 53.5. Maybe we go over. Maybe we take Alabama. Again, in the teaser world, we get 3 points. The way Alabama's playing, they have no trouble going on the road and winning. That's Alabama. Missouri is a very good team. The question is, what are they doing? They're a very good team, but they beat South Carolina and they beat Kansas by 4. Does that make them able to beat Are they that good? I don't know. We'll know more after this game, how good they are, but what do we do with it? And so that's where we've got Alabama beating Vandy and beating Georgia, and it speaks for itself. Losing to Florida State was kind of a fluke. It was the kid's first game, the quarterback, and they struggled with the running quarterback for some reason. And I don't know if Missouri's quarterback's a runner or not. He's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a runner. So there you go. You got Alabama, you got Ohio State, you got UCLA. The process is going. So I think Alabama in 3, maybe you go over 51. If you believe Missouri is this explosive team, they'll score on Alabama. I mean, they'll get some points. But doing what they did to Daggio, what was the score? 31-17 or something like that. No, they won by 16. I had 16.5. So I think it was 30 something to 13 or something. I don't know. Oh, all right. Now what's the score? It was 30-14. So they did hold a powerful Vanderbilt team down to 14. So that helps you. And they played Georgia 2 and under. So that's why the betting's going under. I think Alabama is going to score on Missouri. They got a 14 defense, but they only played 2 teams. And in those games, Kansas put up 31. And then the other game, South Carolina put up 20. So they don't have a 14 defense. So I think Alabama gets the win. I think they're moving now. They had their loss to Florida State, who is not as good as we thought, but they're still very good. Titus, I think Cincinnati is good. Yeah, I've been noticing Cincinnati. We're getting there in a minute. So I think Alabama, I think it's a live play. Lou Lafayette and James Madison. James Madison's the A team. There's 1747. They're down to 1746. The team I like is Old D. James Madison barely beat Georgia State last week. They get Lou Lafayette this week. Lou Lafayette an over with the 32. I don't know. I'm not jumping on James Madison. And then Titus's UCF Cincinnati. Cincinnati 11.5, 54.5, up from 10, and still at 55. Yeah, Sorsby, the quarterback, has looked very good. They did come back on Kansas. They put up a lot of yards last week on Iowa State, which is really hard to do. Iowa State with a strong defense. And UCF doesn't look that good. I don't like their quarterback. He's a nothing. I got him as a B team, but again, they haven't really played anybody. And Cincinnati's only lost us to Big Nebraska. But again, beating Kansas and Iowa State are two good wins. They're at home. Yeah, I like Cincinnati. Laying 11, you're under a touchdown. Keep it under a touchdown. Hey, Todd. Yeah, I got the email. Well, Ohio State's going to lose to Michigan, obviously. Oregon, I don't know. I don't know if Oregon plays Ohio State, and I'm not sure Oregon can beat Washington. And this week they got Indiana. I'm not sure they can beat Indiana. Indiana is outstanding. So I'd have to see their schedule. Also, USC can beat Oregon or Ohio State. Miami, I don't know. A good win with Florida. A good win over Florida State. What do they got? Clemson, North Carolina. Depending on their schedule, we can take a look at their schedule when I get to them. But Ohio State has the defense. Oregon, I don't like the coach. They're pretty good. Winning at Penn State, maybe not as good as it looks now that Penn State got killed by UCLA. This we'll see. But I think Oregon, if they play Washington or USC, they could easily lose those games. And then Miami looks like they're done if that's Florida State. They beat Notre Dame. They beat Florida State and Florida. There can't be much left. As much as we hate the coach, total idiot. But Miami could. But Ohio State's going to lose to Michigan. So they're done. I can't believe they keep losing to Michigan. Because as good as they look, they play in Michigan a whole different way. What was the Michigan game? It was like 13-10 last year. Then they get in the playoff. They put up 40 on Oregon and 40 on Penn State or Notre Dame or whatever. You're like, and you put up 10 on Michigan? So I don't really understand the whole problem they have with Michigan, but that'll be their nemesis, apparently. Pitt goes to Florida State. Florida State 10 and 57.5. They're both A teams. Pitt has a good quarterback, Holstein. They're pretty explosive. Florida State. This is must win for Florida State. I was reading where this is it. They've lost to Miami and they lost, I think, one other game, and they're like, this is it. I like Florida State here in a must win. I'm not sure about the over. I'm not sure how good their defense is. Looked great against Alabama, not so great against Miami. Pitt does score. We will see. Charlotte and the Army. Army 17.5, 47.5. I don't like Army's quarterback this year. He seems to not. He turns it over too much. Charlotte's a Z team. The Army 17, 40. The Army with the 27 defense. It's hard to say. It's not the normal. If this was Navy, I'd like them. Navy's scoring a lot, but not here. Northern Illinois, or no, Washington State, Ole Miss. Washington State got killed by Washington. This is 32-58. Ole Miss, I don't like their quarterback. He's their running quarterback. It's really bizarre. He doesn't seem to be able to throw the ball much. And it's like I can't unplug. It just keeps filling up. So yeah, Ole Miss 32. They'll kill Washington State. Washington State's terrible. It's a big number though against it, but we'll see. Northern Illinois won over Eastern Michigan. This was Eastern was favorite. Northern's now favorite. We've got an under team in Northern Illinois, 21 defense. They're usually a good defensive team. And Eastern Michigan's an over team with the 35 defense. So Eastern might be a live dog here. Total of 48. I wouldn't touch with Northern Illinois. You don't want to play under teams over. That's why it's critical to know the teams. Under plays under, it's under, which is what Oklahoma, Texas is. Over plays over, you go over, but you don't really fuck around with under against over. What are you going to get? An over team or an under team? UMass and Kent, the battle of the Z teams. UMass is terrible. Kent lane 3 and 50. UMass with the 35 defense. Kent the 44. Good luck on that one. I would probably play Kent if I had to, because betting against UMass, who's terrible. Here's my old D playing Marshall. Old D's 1456, up from 54. Old D, the A team, very good team, 14 defense. Marshall and over with the 31 defense. I like Old D here. They came through last week, and against Marshall, they're an over team, but they haven't played anybody, and they still have a 31 defense. So go Old D, beat Navy. NC State and Notre Dame. Notre Dame 22-60. NC State's an over team with a 25 defense. Notre Dame is changing. They were an over team playing 80-point games with A&M and Miami and Purdue, and now they're a B team with a 23 defense. Against Boise, they had 4 picks and held them to a 28-7 game. So they are switching in mid-form here. They're now playing better defense. NC State, I think Notre Dame, I could see the band, the Leprechaun doing a lot of push-ups this week. They have to win because they've lost 2 games already. And that's really the key to it. NC State, how good are they? Let's pop into that, into these schedules. And when we look at it, NC State beats Virginia, which is a good win. They beat Wake, which is a good win. They lose to Duke 45-33. They lose to Virginia Tech, which is a bad loss. And then they go and play Campbell. On week 5, they're playing Campbell. All right. So throw that out. So they score approximately 30 points a game against a Virginia, a Wake, a Duke, and a V-Tech. But they give up 30 to Virginia, 45 to a good Duke offense, and 23 to a weak V-Tech. So this is an over team, as we are suggesting. We've got Notre Dame, who was an over team. Play Miami to a 51, A&M to an 81, Purdue to an 86, Arkansas to a 69, and then Boise, which you would have thought would have went over, throws 4 picks. So is that an anomaly or what? But every other game, they're scoring 40, 50 points a game. I think here this should be high scoring. NC State, Virginia, Duke, they're putting up 35, and they're pretty good teams. So, yeah, I think they can score on Notre Dame. I think 22 is a bit high to take Notre Dame and lay the points. This is not, Campbell. This is North Carolina State. So I think it's an over. Okay, let's go on. Oklahoma, Texas. Texas is now a 1.5 point favorite. They were 2.5 and 42.5. Now I posted 56.5 because that's what I got Sunday, and I went under. So that's already a posting. Even at 42.5, I like it under. If this would have came out, I still would have bet Oklahoma, Texas. I knew it wasn't a mistake, but it was what was posted. I think they play games at casinos on Sunday night, but when I saw 56, I said thank you. So this is definitely an under. Oklahoma's quarterback's going to try to play with a broken hand. Good luck. Texas has Arch Manning, which he needs a broken hand to get an excuse out. He was pretty bad, just like Peyton. I can't stand these Peyton commercials. Oh my God. So Texas 1.5. Oklahoma's got a quarterback from last year who replaced. Not much. This is strong defenses. Oklahoma with the 7, which is real. They beat Michigan, and there was another good win over Auburn. Texas hasn't beaten anybody. They played one team, Ohio State, and got their ass kicked. This is definitely an under. This is your free play. Go under in this game. Wake Forest and Oregon State. Wake 350.5. Wake's a pretty good team. Oregon State still a Z team. Malik Murphy's the quarterback who was at Duke, who was at Texas. He did good at Duke. I don't know why he changed, but I don't know. It's hard. Wake has to go from North Carolina to Oregon, and now they're the 3-point favorite. They're the B team to a Z Oregon State. Oregon State will be fired up at home on this is a Saturday afternoon. It's 3:30 game. I don't know. Wake probably gets the win, but this is not really the team I want, but you do kind of bet against Oregon State with the 35 defense. Big game, Indiana, Oregon. Oregon 7.5, 55.5. This down from 8.5. Now you can probably still get an 8. This is A versus A. Indy with the 10 defense, and they played Illinois. They played Iowa. And Oregon, who has played Penn State. So we know what we have. I think this is a very live dog here. I think this is an overplay. 55, Oregon at home. They move on anybody. Yeah, they struggled with Penn State, 17-17 at the end of that one to 34. I think Indiana going west is going to hurt them. But I think there's points in the game. I think you always look at Oregon to score a lot. And I think you look at Indiana to score a lot. 55-49. I think you got to take that over. 49 is what? 28-22. You're a winner. Let's go 27-24. You're a winner. I can't believe that they won't be in the 30s here. Indiana runs it down your throat. I don't think Oregon's going to be that strong to stop it. Again, 17-all with Penn State at the end of regulation. Penn State with Ellard's terrible. So I think over. I think Indy's a live dog, but it's a 3:30 game at Oregon. So it's a noon game at Oregon. So it actually favors Indiana because it'll be 3:30 for them. But yeah, it'll be Indiana comes to play. They're not losing 28-0 here. So I think this is a good game and an over. Ball State, Western. Let me see who's bothering me. So let's see. Ball State, Western. Western 9.5, 43.5. Ball State is the Z team, 30 defense. Western's an under team with the 20. Hard to play an under team. They barely beat UMass last week or some Z team. I think they won 21-0 or something. Oh, what was Western? Western beat UMass 21-3. So I can't really trust them. I'm running out of power. Western 9.5, 43. Well, they're at home. It's a Z team, maybe. App State, Georgia State. App State 2.5, 55.5. On the road. Georgia State's a Z team. I don't think App State's all that good. Lane 3. Stay away from that. Penn State 21 and 48 at home to Northwestern, off of 2 losses in a row. Penn State has. Penn State an E team, Northwestern an under. I'm liking Penn State off of the double loss. Like, this is it. Let's see. So we know Penn State. Let's get a look at Northwestern. They lost to Tulane 23-3. Lost to Western Illinois. They won, throw out. They played Oregon, lost 34-14. They beat UCLA 17-14, which would never happen now. And they beat Lou Monroe 42-7, who's terrible. So at the time, UCLA was a Z team. Lou Monroe was a Z team. The 2 teams that were decent, Oregon beat them 34-14. I mean, that's the thing. Oregon plays a 48 with Northwestern's got to play. They just need to play a 49 with Indiana. And they get killed by Tulane. So I think they're going to get destroyed here. I think Penn State, it's like we've lost 2 in a row. Okay, losing to Oregon, okay. Losing at UCLA when they hadn't won is bad. This is perfect for us. This is exactly what we want. A good team, Penn State, off of 2 losses in a row, playing a weak Northwestern team. So go Penn State. We don't take them personally. We don't like or dislike Penn State or any team, really. Do we bet them or not? Are they good bets? And I would say this is a good bet. You've got them off of 2 losses. I think they just run wild on them. The running game will take over and they'll win by 48 here. TCU, Kansas State. TCU 1.5, 55, a road favorite. TCU, a B team, 21 defense. Kansas State, an E team, 27. TCU just won at Colorado. Kansas State's been struggling. They're not as strong as they usually are. I think they score a little on here. I think this probably can go over. Kansas State with the 27 defense, I think TCU scores. And Kansas State, I think, will be able to score on TCU a little bit. 55 is a 49. Again, it's a 20-point game. I mean, the TCU plays 30, 40-point games. Iowa State goes to Colorado. Iowa State 3 and 51 off of a loss at Cincinnati. Iowa State, very well team. Rocco Beck, good quarterback, good defense, good coach. I know they had cornerback injuries, Iowa State, I heard about. Colorado, just not that good without Prime Jr. So I think Iowa State, off the loss, wins. I don't think it's that hard to play at Colorado. And an 18 team, they're just the better team with the better coach and the better quarterback. So I think Iowa State's there. I don't know about playing them over. Colorado didn't help Titus last week, 35-21 to TCU. And Iowa State's got a better defense, so I wouldn't bet this game over. Nebraska and Maryland. Nebraska 6.5, 47.5 to Mary. Nebraska seems to be playing decently. Maryland, I don't know who they are. They did play Washington very good, but I don't know who Maryland is. They play nobody. They are at home. I don't know enough to make a play here. Georgia Tech 14.5, 55.5. Virginia Tech's pretty bad. I like Georgia Tech here. Let's just look at the last. Are they off of a loss? No, Georgia Tech beat Wake. They didn't play great, but they beat Wake 30-29, beat a good Temple team, beat Clemson, and beat Colorado. So we know how strong Georgia Tech is. And when we look at VTech, they lose to Wake. They barely beat NC State. They beat Wolford. Old D, they get killed by 19, and they lose by 24 to Vanderbilt. So you're losing by 20 to Old D, and your best win's Wolford, and you barely beat NC State, and then you lose to Wake. Yeah, I like Georgia Tech here. They're not off of a loss. I think they're 5-0, Georgia Tech. This is a big game for them against a pretty weak VTech. Go Haynes King. Air Force in Vegas. Vegas 6.5, 65.5. This is down from 68. And Vegas is 6.5. Excuse me. Both teams are over. Teams, Air Force at 37. Vegas, excuse me, at 26. Do you go over on this game? It's a big number, 66. Air Force is really bad defensively. They played Navy to a 61 game a couple weeks ago, 31-30 or something like that, 34-30. Vegas, I got to check the teams a little bit closer. Do I go over? I don't know. It's hard going over with an Air Force because they want to run the option a lot, but we'll see. Navy and Temple. Now, this is a good game. Navy's up to 9.5. Wow. It was 7.5, 53.5. I'm 52. So Navy, an A team. Horworth, their quarterback's very good. They're much better than Army this year. A 20 defense. And Temple is an over team. They play well. Simon, their quarterback. They got a new coach who's pretty good. 25 defense. Total of 53. I like the game over. Absolutely. 47. Yeah, Navy's scoring and Temple's scoring. This is over. Arkansas, Tennessee. We got Tennessee 12.5, 68, which is about where it was. Both are over teams, 30 defenses. You need 68, you need 62. So you're in the 30s. And we know how strong Tennessee is offensively at home. They're going to light you up for 50. And Arkansas apparently can score. They didn't do much on Notre Dame. So that's the only thought is, well, I could take Tennessee minus 6.5. It's probably a W, but they don't have that good a defense either, like a Notre Dame defense. UAB, Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic, 5.5, 69.5. This is also an over versus over. UAB lights it up, as does Florida Atlantic. So, again, you see a 69, the teams are over. This probably goes over, but we'll see. We don't know enough about these teams. See, that's where I need to research is UAB, Florida Atlantic. I don't need to research Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, Illinois, but I do need – this is where you need it is now they're both over teams. UAB, Florida Atlantic are both over teams with shit defenses, 39, 33 defenses. So we'll have to see. And again, it could be reversed. They could play USC and give up 70. Their defense isn't going to give up 70 to UAB or Florida Atlantic. So keep that in mind. Lou Monroe, Coastal Carolina. Lou Monroe, 2.5, 43.5. Lou Monroe's a Z team. Coastal is a W. both with 30 defenses. So careful on this one. You're really getting shit teams. San Jose State, Wyoming. We prefer the over team plays the Z team. They're going to light it up for 50, and the Z team can't really do much. That's what we prefer. San Jose State, Wyoming. We got San Jose State 2.5, 49.5. San Jose State an E team, 28 defense. Wyoming and under 21. Don't know. Florida goes to A&M after their big win over Texas. A&M 7.5, 46.5. They got the good quarterback. Florida, they're going to be flat after beating Texas. Now they go to A&M, probably a little. They don't play as well outside of Florida. 17-21 defensively. Yeah, I think Texas A&M gets the win, 7.5 down to 1.5. Langway's terrible. He still threw 5 picks at LSU. You can't ignore that. Texas there, but yeah, I think A&M Reed, I think, is a better quarterback. Iowa, Wisconsin, Iowa 3.5, 35.5. This was 37. We'll call it 36. Iowa, the B team, Wisconsin, the under. Wisconsin had a pretty good defense against Michigan, no offense. Iowa, we're not sure of. Iowa with a 15. Strong defense, decent offense against Rutgers, and in another game against Indiana, they lost really 17-10. I think they got a safety at the end. Or no, it was 20-15. Indiana beat them after the Illinois game. They didn't do much there. But Iowa's not a big offensive team, so probably a good under, but it's low, 36. It's a low one, but doable. Kansas, Texas Tech. Texas Tech 14.5, 59.5 to my Kansas team. Kansas is a B with the other Jalen Daniels, who's outstanding this year. He's not turning it over as much. In the Cincy game, he threw for 440 yards and 5 touchdowns. So if any team can figure out Texas Tech, it's Kansas with the dual threat quarterback. Daniels is a decent runner, but he's turning into a very good passer. Texas Tech, I don't know. They're just killing everybody. Big offense, 50-point offense, and an 11 defense, and they've played some good teams. My Utah team especially. So I would not want to bet against Texas Tech here. Do I go total? Maybe. Do I go over? But with this Texas Tech defense, I think you either play Texas Tech or you watch. They're going to lay 8 to Kansas. I can't. If Kansas wins, I'll throw up. So I got to be careful there. Michigan, USC. USC 2.5, 57.5. USC very strong offensively. Michigan's got to do the travel. It is a 7:30 game, so Michigan gets lucky there. It's not the 10:30 game Michigan State had. If SC was the dog, I'd be all over them. SC's laying 2.5. I don't want any part of Michigan in 8. Their quarterback's just not that strong. I think USC is going to light up Michigan's defense a little bit. And probably I like the over. USC with a 23 defense. Michigan will put up 24, and I think USC gets in the 30s. So I think this is a 50-some game, 58 or so. It's close to the number, but we in Teaser World are going 51, and that's 28-23, and Michigan will be in the 20s. They seem to be running the ball for long touchdowns like they've been doing, and USC is going to throw it all over the place. This is a very strong USC, Maivia, very strong quarterback. I like the over here. Purdue and Minnesota. Minnesota 8.5, 50.5. Purdue's an over team. They got a good quarterback. Their coach is from Vegas, is pretty good. Minnesota, a B team. They don't have a decent quarterback. They have a decent defense, although Ohio State shredded it. Purdue, I think, is a live dog here. 8.5. You get 14.5. Good quarterback. 30-21 is the defense. Purdue with the 30, Minnesota 21. So how much does the freshman quarterback at Minnesota give you? So I think Purdue is a live dog here. I'm not sure how strong Minnesota is. Clemson and BC. Clemson 14-54. I don't know why Clemson's 14 over anybody. I do see BC as an over team with a weak defense. This has got to be an over game. Clemson doesn't have this strong defense. It's a 20 defense. They've lost 3 games. If we look at, let's look at these teams. So if we look at the scores, so Clemson beats North Carolina 38-10, who has no offense. They lose 34-21 to Syracuse, 24-21 to G-Tech. They beat Troy 27-16 and lose 17-10 to LSU. So they're giving up 20, 30 points a game, but they're not really explosive, except for North Carolina. They're not scoring. I mean, Syracuse doesn't have a big defense. Georgia Tech is okay, but that was it. And we look at BC. They beat some F team. I don't know the Ram. I don't know who this is. Fordham, I guess. They lose to Michigan State 42-40. They lose to Stanford 30-20. They lose at home to Cal 28-24. And Pitt beats them 48-7, who's got a pretty good offense. Who does Pitt have? Florida State. What am I doing there? Over? Yeah, it's an over. So their defense is pretty weak. Michigan State 42, Stanford 30, who doesn't have an offense. Cal 28-48. So look for Clemson to score. What do we got here? Total of 54. Yeah, I like it over. I think Clemson scores. BC scores, although they didn't against Pitt. Yeah, it's been pretty weak. Stanford, Michigan State of 40. Yeah, boy, looking at that makes that UCLA Michigan State over look even better. I mean, they're giving up points to fucking BC. And that's how you parallel one game to the next. You're giving up 40. You're giving up 40 points. Michigan State to Boston College. And here comes this new UCLA team who lit up Penn State for 42, and you don't think they're going to put 40 on them? So, yeah, Clemson, I don't know. They lost to Georgia Tech, but the loss to Syracuse is really hard to take. And then beating North Carolina, who stinks. I think North Carolina's our bitch, but I don't think they're on here. I think they're off. They're too embarrassed to play. All right, let's Rice UTSA. There's so many games. UTSA 12.5, 48.5. UTSA an over team. I love the quarterback, McCown. Rice an under team with a 21. UTSA at 30. UTSA strictly bet them over. I don't know if you can bet them over here against Rice, who's an under team. So I think this is a watch. Georgia 3.5, 46.5 to Auburn. Auburn, they did go to Baylor and win. They played Oklahoma tough. My Georgia team, I don't know where their defense is, but 24-21. The second half against Alabama, they looked like Georgia. And they killed Kentucky after the loss. They've got the loss. They have to win. It's always Georgia. I think the under's live, and I think Georgia's live. Georgia can't afford the loss to lose again. And I'm not sure, excuse me, how strong Auburn is. Hey, David. Army was a over team last year. Now they suck. Well, it's the quarterback. They had a really good quarterback. You got to watch the quarterback. That's the key to these teams. That's why we're on Virginia. They got the quarterback from North Texas. The guy is a superstar. Vanderbilt, Daggio, we bet him all the time. Even against Alabama, we still bet him, and we still won with him. He's an outstanding quarterback. He makes the difference. You have a quarterback, you make the look at Penn State's quarterback sucks. UCLA, all of a sudden they bring in an offensive coordinator, and the quarterback looks great. Um, Alabama and Ohio State, they got new quarterbacks, but they look okay. So we'll see. But that's what you look at. Georgia, I'm not sold on their quarterback. I'm shocked Carson Beck left, but I think because of the injuries. And Auburn, 16 defenses here, B teams here, so they don't score a lot. I think you got to go Georgia under here. I think Georgia plus 2.5 is a winner also. They can't afford to lose. And they get a little complacent, but when they want to play, they got so much talent, Georgia. LSU, 9.5, 44.5 to South Carolina. Definitely an under game. Both teams are under. Both South Carolina 18 defense, LSU 12. They did play Missouri 29-20, South Carolina. And if the Missouri didn't light them up, here's where I get fucked up. I got that Missouri-Kansas game in my mind going, oh, Missouri's really strong, when really it was 35-31 if the guy doesn't break the long run at the end when they're running the clock out. So it skews me. But if I looked at the South Carolina-Missouri game, it's 29-20. I'm not all excited about Missouri. So that's what happens. You let one game dictate what it is, and you got to be careful with that. So this is definitely an under. Bobby, you going to be there at LSU? Bobby normally goes to the LSU games. Texas State, 9.5, 54. Boy, I got a bad. I had 63. I must have been looking at the wrong one there. Texas State, 9.5, 54. Texas State's an over team, very strong offense. Troy's an under with the 23. Not much scoring. Texas State probably there. BYU, 2.5, 47.5. To Arizona, both A teams, both strong defenses, 12 and 15, 47.5 total. BYU had them under Friday night. I don't know. There was all these turnovers. They fumbled twice at their own goal line, and they threw some interceptions. The other team threw in. So it ended up being a bunch of short fields, and that's how you got over. But that's a fluke. That probably won't happen often. I want BYU as a dog. I do not want them as a road favorite against Arizona. New Mexico, Boise, 16.5, 59.5 coming off of the loss to Notre Dame. 4 interceptions by the Boise quarterback. New Mexico, I like. They got a good coach. They are a live dog here, I think. Utah, 5.5, 48.5 to Arizona State. Arizona State's a good team, a B team, 21. I really like Utah at home. Dampier is a really good quarterback. He's a good running quarterback, but he can throw also. So 5.5. It's hard because Arizona State's a good team, right? I don't want to sell them short. They're a very live dog in most games. Utah, very strong at home in the altitude. And they got a great defense. So I think Utah wins it tight. Maybe they don't win it tight, but I think they win it in 48.5. It's hard to bet Utah over with the killer defense. Nevada, San Diego State. San Diego State, 7.5, 41.5. San Diego State, a B team, 12 defense. Nevada, W, 25. San Diego State's a better team, or do we trust them at Nevada? Maybe. And a real interesting game here. Utah State is now favored 1.5. and 58.5. Utah State's an over team. They're a very good team this year. Hawaii's an even team. I loved Utah State as the dog. Now it's a 1.5. I'll see if I can still get them as a dog. That's a misspread. Utah State getting 1.5 against Hawaii is a misspread. They should be at least 3-point favorites. So you notice that they've been scoring a lot. They got a new coach, Bronco Mendenhall, who was at BYU for 100 years, then went to Virginia. And they brought in Barnes, the quarterback from Utah. So they're playing very good, very high scoring. So even if I have to lay, I still like Utah State here. All right, that's college football. Your free play, Oklahoma, Texas under. A lot of good plays. I will be checking injuries if I can get them. I don't know. It's getting so difficult to find injuries. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Gotta get the stupidest text. Anyway, pros tomorrow. We got Philly at the Giants. Barkley was minor injury, but I think he's okay. Let's quickly check the NFL news. Apparently, Joe Flacco has been traded from Cleveland to Cincinnati, which makes sense because Cincinnati needs a quarterback. Well, Browning looked okay, but he's not Flacco. Let's see, NFL news. Bengals trade for Browns, Joe Flacco, while Lions get good news on key defender. Arnold sucks. Don't tell me he's a key defender. So the Bengals get Joe Flacco. That helps. They're not a Z team with Flacco. Cleveland goes to Gabriel, who's better than Flacco, so that's okay. Let's see. Let's see. What do we got? Barkley popped up on the Eagles' estimated practice report Monday with a knee injury. However, it was just general soreness, and Barkley is expected to play on Thursday. Okay. No Mike Evans, Bucking Irving at. See, it's not. Who cares about the Wednesday walkthrough? We only care about the Sunday games. Mike Evans, we know is hurt. He's got a hamstring. Bucky Irving, I don't know. Giants, Darius Slayton expected to miss Thursday night football versus Eagles. Jets cornerback Michael Carter out in week 6. Who the hell is he? Barkley upgraded to limited participant on Tuesday's estimated injuries. It's a little early for injuries because they don't really report it. Packers, Christian Watson nearing a return. Eagles offensive leaders hold exclusive meeting following week 5. Oh, so we're betting Philly. Okay. Ravens and Chargers swap players and draft picks and trade. Huh. There's a trade that would send edge rusher Odif Owe and a 7th-round pick in 27 to the Chargers for safety Aloha Gilman. Where do they get these guys? All right. So as far as we can see for tomorrow, Barkley will be playing. Jackson Dart doesn't scare us at all. Real quickly, Philly 7.5 41, Denver 7.5 43 in London Sunday morning. LA 7.5 45 to Baltimore, but we got to see the injuries for Baltimore. Jacksonville 1-47 to Seattle. Dallas 3-49.5 to Carolina. I don't know if Dallas can be a road favorite, but they've been scoring. Pitt 5.5 38.5 to Cleveland. New England 3.5 46 at New Orleans. I'm not sure New England's a road favorite all of a sudden. San Diego 4.5 43.5. They got to travel cross country. Indy 6.5 47.5 to Arizona. I don't know who Indy is. Are they really this good? Oakland 4.5 41.5 to Tennessee, who sucks. Are they going to keep throwing interceptions, hoping the defensive guy fumbles so they can score? Tampa 3-47.5 to the Niners. Green Bay 14-44.5. Now Joe Flacco's a quarterback. That's a whole. You give me 20 points with Joe Flacco, that's a whole different bet. Although I didn't mind Browning getting the 20. Kansas City 2.5 52.5 over Detroit. Buffalo 4.5 49.5 to Atlanta. And Washington 4.5 49 to Caleb. All right, let's check our gold. Gold 40.52, up $72 today. Silver 49.46. We're knocking at the 50 door. Here we go. This is going to break 50. So from a psychological standpoint, people just don't get it. They do not understand gold and silver at all. For them to invest, it's buy stocks. Or for some strange reason, they want to buy real estate. I'll buy a house as an investment. It ain't an investment. There's maintenance, there's taxes, and you're not guaranteed it's going up. What's the housing market look like? Is everybody running to buy houses? Well, everybody's running to buy gold and silver. So you have that going on. And we will see. But gold and silver, like I say, the real value's here and the COMEX is here. It's the only thing that's reversed. Everything else is reversed. The stock prices should be here, are here. The value of this company is $100. The stock's $300. What is that? Tesla. What the fuck? Nobody wants electric cars. What are you selling? It makes no sense. So people trying to buy 5 houses as an investment, I don't know where they get that from. That's stupidity. A house you have to maintain, property taxes. You got to mow the lawn, and if there's repair, are you renting it out or are you just going to let it sit there? It's not like gold where you can just let it sit there. We're making money on our gold doing nothing, just it's sitting there. But a house is not the same. A stock is not the same. Let's see what the stocks are doing today. The Dow bullshit. I mean, look at this. Why is this up 181? Is bullshit. This is not real. It will crash soon. You can bet on it. Why is that high? Because the psychological of people is, well, if the stock market is high, that means the economy is high because that's the value of the company. So if the company, oh well, what, Apple, oh look, it's the Apple's price is going up. That means the economy must be doing well. Well, maybe the global economy. I'm not sure that Apple's doing well in America. I'm not sure the U.S. is doing well. But oh yeah, in China they have Apple and Amazon and all these others there. So I'm not sure what people are looking at, but people are conditioned. People don't know what they're doing, so therefore they go to their financial advisor. And what does he do? He gets commission by putting them into stocks. He doesn't get commission putting them into gold and silver, and I'm not sure he gets commission putting them into buying a house, right? So he can put them into a real estate trust like Attack on Wall Street guy, but he can't if he puts it on. If he puts them in, anything besides stocks, he doesn't get commission. So he's always he might put you in an ETF, which is a Ponzi scheme. The whole stock market's a Ponzi scheme, right? You don't know why the stock goes up and down. You assume it's demand, but you don't know. You don't know what to do. Excuse me. I hate when it's in the middle and you can't cough it out and it tickles you. So that's what you have. You go to advice from a financial planner who can only tell you to buy stocks and bonds. He can't put you in gold and silver. He doesn't do the best for you. He does the best for him. And in his company, he gets commission by selling it. Right. So if you watch Attack on Wall Street, they dump, or the Jeremy Irons film, they dump their positions and everybody goes broke because it's what's best for the firm, not the people. And that's the problem. I'm just giving you football advice on the games, going, well, this is what I like, Alabama and this and Illinois and Ohio State, da 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 da. I have nothing in the game. I don't care what game you bet on. I'm just trying to make you money with it. If you buy my picks now you got a foot in the game where I'm giving you, this is what I'm betting on. These are my locks. So you don't really know my locks. You don't even know what I'm betting on. I just went through every game. I'm not betting on every game, but it's good advice for you. So you can take that and make money. It's a neutral advice. It is not, it's not like telling you to go into stock because I make commission. I don't make anything by giving you the pick, by giving you the advice on how I see the game. So if I tell you Ohio State, Illinois, you don't want to fuck with the Ohio State's defense. It's not necessarily a game I bet. I have no skin in the game on that. Now, if you buy and you see my pick, and it could be my lock, you don't know, but you want to see the picks because you want to bet like I do because I win at it. And I understand it. And then I have the intuition on it. My INFJ says, no, stay away from that game, go to that game. Like UCLA, like Penn State after 2 losses. So those really get my intuition going, yeah, that's what I like. That's what I win with through the years, these teams off of a loss. That's where I make a lot of money. That's where my intuition comes in. Oh, yeah, 1982, the 49ers with Joe Montana had won the Super Bowl, and they lost 2 games, and then they came back and won by 50. I mean, that's where I pull it from, and I don't even know why. I just know it's happened before. There was a game in the 70s Dallas and the Giants. Roger Staubach playing for Dallas. And I think Dallas was off a loss, and the Giants sucked. And here it was, and I bet the farm on Dallas. And I had this intuition that when I turned the game on, because I was working that day at the grocery store, that Danny White would be the quarterback. And that the game was, they're up by 40. And I turned the game on, and Danny White's the quarterback, and they're up 44-7. And I'm laying 4 or 5 points. And that's where I get the intuition from. It's already happened. It's already won. That's where the confidence comes from and the intuition. But the more games I pick right, the more confidence I have. And that's really what I'm trying to help you with. Unlike the stocks are trying to get you to buy commission, to buy stocks, to buy commission. And if you ask a financial advisor to buy gold, he'll laugh at you because he doesn't get commission on it. And I have these they have these gold targets, but they're, well, you don't want to buy gold. Or if you do, you don't want to buy physical. I'm so tired of arguing with people who want to buy ETFs or stocks. It's like, dudes, what is so difficult? Go buy 10 ounces of gold and put it in the safe and just go enjoy. I mean, why do you make it more difficult? That's the play. Buy the physical. The physical goes up, you have it, your gold just went up. You bought your physical at 2,000 and it's 4,000 now. Can you believe it's 4,000? We are over $4,000 in gold, and it ain't started yet. It's going to be 10 and it's going to be 20, but it's got to go 2 to 3 to 4 to get there. But it's not going anywhere. It's only going up. Because you must own it, because you must get out of the dollar. That's the critical part. Why the stock market hasn't fallen yet, I don't know. It's being manipulated. They're buying it with the Fed treasuries, but it will go down. But that's how corrupt our government is. But they can't control gold because it's now the whole world is in the BRICS and everybody's in gold, and they can't control that. And they want that price to go up. It's going up. So that's the big difference. So again, they want you in stocks because that's where they make the commission. And then all these mutual funds, they charge all these stupid management fees. Well, it's 5%. What do you do? Nothing. We just buy, whatever. But that's the other thing. You have these management fees in these ETFs and in these mutual funds. And at work, you're getting a 5% match. Great. And then they hit you with 5% management fees, which you don't see. You see your balance is at 120,000, should be 200,000, but you have no idea. You have no idea what they're doing to you. You just see the end product. You're not in control of your own money. That's the problem with that. But as the dollar goes, so does all the companies, and so does the stock market. It's going to crash. It is October. It's October 8th. Be careful. You're playing with dynamite with stocks right now, with real estate trust. People can't afford it. People are they can't pay their mortgages. They can't pay their car payments. There's millions of cars that can't be sold. People can't afford them. They're just sitting on the lots. And the people that own the company or the lots, they got to pay maintenance on the car. They got to pay the rent on the car because they can't just sit there. They got to pay for the parking. So keep that in mind. Titus, is Utah a over team now, Professor? No, they're a strong A team, but they're not an over team. Dampier is a good quarterback who I like, but their coach is going to play to their defense, which is their strength. And the problem with an over, you're not going to get who's Utah got. Utah's got Arizona State. They're not going to score a lot. Arizona State will get 17 points. Utah might get in the 20s. So you're looking at a 40 or so, and the total's 48.5. So is that over 42.5? Probably a win. But you're really fucking with the Utah always has a strong defense because that's what the coach likes. That's why I take you to Texas State and UTSA. Their coaches are offensive coaches. So they're always going to score 45, 50 points and not play much defense. Titus, get on the professor's picks for this weekend. It's going to be good. Yeah, Titus, absolutely. This is probably your 8 to 10 team teaser here. Because I think what's fooling us is not going to fool us now. I think we've seen enough to now know who everybody, like now we're picking up UCLA, and we've had USC the whole time over every game, and Washington we've been on since the beginning. We haven't really been on Miami, but we've been on Florida State after the Bama game, and now we're seeing Alabama playing better, and we see Ohio State. So we're pretty much getting better. Our Old Dominion we're picking up on. So we start seeing the plays and not getting fooled by the high school game and the Akron game. So I think we're pretty much there on most of these games. Like Kansas, Texas Tech, I would be on Kansas before. Now I'm not. Now I'm like, whoa. As much as I love Kansas, I ain't fucking with Texas Tech. They're a very strong team. They're so much better than Penn. It amazes me. They're like number 12, and it's like they beat Utah, and they beat if they beat Kansas, they beat some good teams, and you're making them number 12 in the country. And there's Penn State who. All right, they lost to Oregon, lost to UCLA. Shouldn't be a top 25 team. So you got to be very careful with that. But yeah, I see. I adapt. That's my strength. I see what UCLA did, and I quickly adapt to them with no remorse that they're a Z team. They're not a Z team anymore. Was this a fluke? I don't think so. Are they going to be flat this week? I don't think so. They were 0-5. They finally got a win. They're hardly going to be flat. I don't know if they're going to win, but they can score. I like their offensive coordinator. So it's like that where you adapt. I adapted to Tyler Van Dyke and Cam Rising. I didn't know who Cam Rising was. I saw him put up a bunch of 45s, and I said, yeah, I like Cam Rising. Sort of like we got with Dagia Pava. I found him at New Mexico State. Right? So you find them, but you're open to them, and you understand when you get them how to handle them. And Daggio beat Alabama last year, beat them this year in the spread. So you know what to look for, and you find it. That's what you do with gold and silver. As they started printing the money, the money's worthless because that's what triggers the money. I told somebody at the club, I said, I am a critical thinker, which means if we were living in Gotham City and there's Batman, I would have figured out he was Bruce Wayne. Because I would say, well, this guy's got to have a lot of money. He doesn't need to work, and he's in good shape. Who do I see in good shape? Oh, there's Bruce Wayne, looks like a tank. Bruce Wayne's got money, and he's kind of the same size as Batman. So I love how the criminals. Well, let's take his mask off to see who he is, dude. You should know who he is without taking the mask off. So I said that to the person. That's how I think, and so very quick to catch on to gold and silver, which I really knew to buy gold and silver in 1995 when I got my master's. The guy told me the money's no good, and I caught on to that, and he's ripping it. The first class, he's ripping $1. So he like would take this 5 and he just ripped it in half. And he said, it's worthless. And answer, go buy gold and silver. So as you see them printing the money, it should have collapsed in 2008. More bullshit, but now BRICS is there, and BRICS is saying, fuck it. I'm not sold on Bitcoin because I don't buy that it's limited and I don't know what it is. You cannot see it. You cannot touch it. How can it have a value? Why doesn't the dollar, who you can touch and you can touch and see, but it has no value because it's not backed by anything? Okay, so Bitcoin, not only can I not see it or touch it, it's not backed by anything. Again, when I was told about Bitcoin at a poker game, my friend asked me, because he knows I'm in economics, he says, well, would you buy some? And I go, what's it backed by? Nothing. I said, no. Took me all of 10 seconds to say, it's not backed by anything. I don't want it because it's not real. And people believe the story. Oh, it's 100,000. No, that's bullshit. It might be, but it's just a fluke. And if you're stupid enough to never sell it, you're gonna feel the pain when it goes to zero. It's not real money. You can't spend it. You can't go to Kroger's with it. How can it be money if I can't spend it? The whole point of money, it's the medium of exchange. You earn it, they pay you in it, and then you spend it. You go to Kroger's with the dollar that you make from work. But Bitcoin, not only will you not make it in work, but you can't go spend it anywhere because it's not real. And nobody wants it. Nobody will accept it. So digital money, be very, very careful. It's not real. You can't see it and you can't hold it. And it's not backed by anything. So I would be very careful with anything digital, that it's real. And you're better off in dollars. I'm not sure what's happening in October about the dollar being replaced. I don't know. My friend's telling me about this, and I'm like, show me where you're getting this information, because I don't buy it. I don't think you can just take, okay, we're not going to use the dollar anymore. Okay, then are you using USD number 2, or are you using gold and silver, or are you using digital? And if you're using digital, it's not real. So don't give 10 grand for digital money. Don't do that. Now, if you're on Social Security, you might have to take digital because that might be the way they pay you out. I don't know that that'll happen because there's always well, I'm 82 and I don't know how to use digital. I just have direct deposit into my bank. I don't have a computer. I don't have a phone. And so there's always those outs to keep you into money and not digital. There's the mafia with the prostitution and drugs that deal in dollars. They do not want to deal in digital and have a trail. Oh, you're selling cocaine. Now it's just money. So nobody knows what's going on, and they're not going to give that up. So will there be digital? Well, there's digital now. There's Bitcoin, but you don't have to have it. Don't get involved with this digital stuff like in the UK where they're tracking you and monitoring you and all that shit. Just ignore that. Don't do it unless you have to. Like they're saying, well, you won't be able to work. Well, believe me, between Bitcoin and gold, you don't need to work now. As long as you own those, I don't need to work. I just watch gold go up and up and up and up. And I'm going, I made 5,000 today and 5,000 yesterday. And, it just keeps going. So I'm earning money teaching class, basically. No worries about it going down. It'll go down temporary, maybe, but as you can see, the last 2-3 weeks, it's just because the demand is there. And will the demand stop is the question. And it's no, because everybody's in dollars, has to get out of dollars, and there's only one place to go, gold and silver. So the demand will never end because people with money know it's worthless, or they're starting to become aware and having to buy gold and silver. And there's so much demand that the price will never stop. And as Luke's saying, well, what if I need gold? Well, the price merely goes up. We'll put more gold on the market because people will say, oh, if I can get 10 grand for it, yeah, I'll sell a few ounces. It's still going to go to 25,000, but yeah, 10 grand, I can sell an ounce or two. So that's kind of where it's at. is to stay in the gold and silver, and it's just going to keep going. There's no reason for it to stop. Believe me, they're trying to get out of their derivative sell short positions, the banks, and they can't. And BRICS just keeps buying it, mostly China, Russia. They want to bankrupt the U.S., and they're going to do it, and they own all the gold, so they want gold to go up, just like we do. You got 100 ounces of gold. I don't ever want it to keep going. Go to 10 grand, go to 20 grand. I already got the 100 ounces of gold. I don't need it. I'm not looking to buy more. I'm looking for the price to go. And that's really what the key is. So you're not going to see it drop. You're not going to, don't worry about it. And you're more concerned is holding dollars is your bigger concern, because that has no value. It's not backed by anything, but you don't know until you listen to me. You're not sure what's going on. So you sit there, well, is my dollar, I got 500 grand in my 401k. Go get a wheelbarrow, please. Put it in the wheelbarrow and then take it to the Kroger's and buy milk with it. I mean, well, it can happen in the U.S. Only in Germany and Rome and Italy and England and France. That's the only place it can happen, but not in the U.S. Oh, well, we're the reserve currency. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, that's such bullshit. It used to work with the petrodollar, but it's bullshit. Being a reserve currency doesn't make that it's never going to go out, or it can, because petrodollar's gone and the whole FX thing is gone BRICS. So you used to need dollars to buy. You're China. You want to buy Saudi oil. You need to go buy dollars. So your yuan for dollars, take the dollars to buy the oil from Saudi. Well, you don't need it anymore. So all those dollars aren't needed. China can go right to Saudi and say, I want oil, and they give it to them. And they are now paying in gold. So Saudi's happy. And that's where you're at. The U.S., these wars are about the gold standard. They're about, we don't want you on the gold standard, because they know enough that the dollar will go out, because it can't compete with gold. So they know that. They understand that. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you've got to be very, very smart of what's going on. And that's why it's as much gold as you can buy. But mostly it's, I don't want to be in the dollar because it's not worth anything. So you're getting out of as much dollars as you can. And the only option to buy is gold and silver. Like I said, you can buy a Rolex, you can buy a Mantle card, something very limited, a Picasso, but generally you want to buy gold and silver because that is money. I can go to my coin store and give him an ounce of gold, and he's going to give me 97% back from spot. So I'll get up close to $4,000, and there you go. Problem is, then I get dollars. What do I want with these? So unless there's something I need to spend on them, I don't want to sell my gold for the dollars. Plus the gold's only at 4,000. It's going to 10. Well, how do you know that, Howard? Well, I know it's going to at least 10 because people will need it. They will keep selling their dollars. And it's the only thing to get. It's very limited. So if I am going to sell it, I want a higher price. And so therefore it'll keep going up and up and up. People will need it. Will need to get out of the dollars. And yet people don't understand that. So as they start understanding to get out of dollars and get into gold, that hasn't happened yet. People like us understood it 5 years ago. Most of the world hasn't figured that out yet. They think their dollar is good. Well, it says 100 on it, so it's got to be good. And that's really the key to it. So as people start understanding their dollar's worthless, what do I get into? And their financial planner is going to tell them stock. And they're going, wait, but once the market starts crashing, then you're really going to get this flood into gold, because then they'll realize, well, wait, stocks aren't the answer. The housing's crashing. The cars are crashing. Wait, I got nothing. Bonds are worthless. I only have gold or silver. That's the only two light boats I can get into. Right now, they're kind of going into Bitcoin because they don't understand it. It's not real. It has no value. It's not money. So if Bitcoin isn't money, what is it? Just a digital game, I guess. I don't know. It's not money. And that's really the problem. People are misled into thinking it's money. Why are they buying it? Because it's going up. Why is it going up? But I got to get out of dollars, and I don't want to buy gold and silver because I don't understand it, and I'm told to go into Bitcoin. So it's a lot of people that are just don't have a clue, are being led like lambs to the slaughter by Bitcoin. And it's just, if Donald Trump's in it, I don't want to be in it. That's about all I can say. What an idiot that guy is. Yeah, we're in war. Geez, I wish people would end the war. Stop. There's a lot of dying going on. We're going to end the war, moron. Stop giving aid to the Ukraine. Well, I gotta give them aid. Why? Well, we got to defeat Russia. Why? Russia's not doing anything to us. And if anybody tells you Ukraine's winning the war, don't walk away, run away from this person because they're an idiot. Russia's won big time. I don't know what they're talking about. So you're finding gold and silver. You must buy physical. You do not buy ETFs because they're not real. It's a Ponzi scheme. Really, you don't want to be in stock. If you're in stock, it's very quickly and get the hell out because the stock will crash. When the market crashes, so there's $40 trillion, let's say Italy and Germany and France. When these people go to sell their portfolio, it's not like they're going to say, yeah, sell everything but the silver and gold miners. They're going to sell everything. Dump my stocks, get me out of the US dollar, bring it here, and then we'll try to buy gold and silver. Although we'll have to pay more for it, it's still the only option. And once people realize that, the market crashes and the gold and silver goes to the moon, which it's already going to the moon. That's always my question is, why does silver move 50 cents a day and gold moves $50 a day? I never can understand that. Why isn't silver going $50 today? Makes no sense. It's exactly the same. And don't say silver's not dollars. I hate when Alligator says that. It is dollars. It says $1 on it. It is money. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, it's not priced as money. Well, because COMEX has been pricing it, you idiot. Understand the whole concept. God, amazing. So anyway, that's why we buy the gold and silver, because we can't be in dollars, because they have no value. But nobody's going to tell you that. And there's no dollar exchange like there's gold. Gold, you can see the price of gold, 4,000, finally, 4,050, let's say. 4050 is the value of gold. What's the value of the dollar? There is no place that shows you the value of the dollar. That's the problem, right? So you see 100 on it, you think it's worth 100. But in gold and silver, we see exactly the price. Oh, it's 4050, but it's not the price. The price is 10 times higher. That's the paper price. So you got to even understand there's paper and physical gold, not just the price. The price is paper price. The fact we own physical and they want to sell it to us at paper price, we take it very happily, knowing it's worth 10 times. So 4,000 is 40,000. And we're very happy with that figure. So we're very happy to buy it for 4,000. And that's why silver, people think silver at $50 is the all-time high. It's not. Silver, that's the paper price, not the physical. The physical silver is worth 10 times. So 50 is $500, and I'm going to argue that's low. It's more like 1,000 to 2,000, and that's probably low, because the only light boat's gold and silver. And if gold's $20,000 an ounce. Most people can't afford it. They're jumping into silver because that's the other money. It's the other lifeboat. Anyway, that's the point. But you won't hear it from anybody. Most people don't know it, like I just taught it to you. But if they do go to a financial planner, he's going to put them in stocks because that's where he gets his commission. So go watch Attack on Wall Street and you'll understand it. He got fucked. He had 60,000. As I said, if he would have bought gold with the 60,000, it was like $500 an ounce. And by 2009, it was $1,100 an ounce. So I did the math. His 60,000 would have been worth 110,000 if you would have bought gold and just held it, and he would have no risk that it's going to zero like they fucked him over. Well, we don't care about the customers. We just care about our bank. We can't have our bank go out. So fuck everybody. Just dump the whatever they were shares, and everybody who has $60,000 worth, it's now worth zero. Yeah, it's a great place to do business. And so that's the point. That's another reason you have gold. Nobody can, the physical gold, if he'd have had 60,000 in ounces of gold and silver, it'd be worth 110 at least. And he never would have had to worry about it being worth zero. And that's the hidden part of gold. You can't lose with it. There's no somebody dumping an option on it, crushing it, or devaluing whatever they're, I don't know what they're selling, probably a mutual fund or something. But you never have to worry about that with physical gold and silver. Nobody can dump it and say it's worth zero. Well, we dumped it. Sorry, it's been delisted. That can't happen to gold and silver. I got it right here. So it can't be delisted. And that's the critical part about it. So you've got to really understand that. But again, if you go to your broker or your financial planner, he'll never tell you about that. Remember, he's there for his commission, not for you. And most of the time, they're probably taking this huge management fee. Well, we're for you, but I'm going to charge a 5% management fee, which is hidden because you don't know. You just see the value. You don't know the management fee. That's why you're in gold and silver. You're managing yourself, but you don't need anybody else to help you. All you need to do is find the store that has it, buy it, get out of your paper, put it in a safe place, and you're gold. I mean, they can't take it from you. They can't do anything. So keep that in mind. That's what you're doing. That's why you're doing it. And you can't lose. It's like I'm giving you the football game. I'm giving you Ohio State, Illinois, and I'm saying bet it under, and you can't lose. How many people would bet it, right? I don't know if I'm going to bet it. I might bet it under, but not for a lot. But that's the point. You're looking at these things, and you're going to bet them. But that's what's happening with gold. It's a lock bet. You can't lose with gold. It's not going to go down. There's too much demand. It's a paper price. It's not a physical price. So it's nothing but win-win with it. You can't lose value. Just keep it in a safe place, and nobody can delist it on you, and it's not worth anything. They can't do that. You can thank bricks for that. What do I think about the Eagles game, Professor? Well, I think Philadelphia seems like the pick off of a loss. They've got the better team. Jackson Dart, he's going to be introduced to Jalen Carter many times, I think, in the backfield. So, the only problem is it's Thursday night. Shit. At least it's close. Philly and New York are real close, so it's not a big flight. You've got Philly off of a loss. I hate these Thursday games. And especially college. I hate these Thursday and Friday games. Teams get out of rhythm getting ready for it. Now, Philly might be a little bit better at it than New York. Dart needs all the time he can get. Dart's not a very good quarterback. They lost to New Orleans with they're not going to beat, he's not going to beat Philadelphia. Yeah, he'll try to do his run bullshit, but that's not going to happen. Hey, Nick. Yeah, it broke 4,000, which is a very big milestone. People will be aware of 4,000. Remember when it broke 2,000 and everybody was, well, it won't stay. Then next thing you knew, it was 2,200 and then 2,400. Then it broke 3,000. Now 4. Wait till it breaks 5. Wait till silver breaks 50. And you'll see it at 100. But it's just going to keep going because you have to get out of dollars. There's huge demand for it. And it's not it's a very limited product. So when these guys tell you how gold's been around for 5,000 years, it's because it's unbreakable, right? And it's very limited. So it's always going to have a value because of the limit. Imagine in Egypt when the pharaohs were buried with gold, how valuable gold was at that time, and now it's 1,000 times more valuable. So they knew what they were doing, but that's really the point. You can't lose with it. It's a lock. But you must buy physical and you must put it in your safe. You cannot be in stocks or ETFs because you don't own it and you're in dollars. And the key here is to get out of the fucking dollar because these idiots are printing it because you got Jim Riker going, oh, you can just keep printing it and printing it. There's, print as much as you want. No. The more you print, the less it's worth. Hello? And you're some other idiot? So that's what you're dealing with. What about the Eagles total? I don't know what the total is. My book's over there because I got to go print copy my pages over. I wouldn't fuck with the total, maybe an under. With Dart, you have no offense. With Malik Neighbors out, you're going to run on Philadelphia. Philly will get up 30 and then just run the ball with Barkley, and maybe he breaks one. But I don't know. What's the total? 40. I think it's 43. Uh, 41. 7.5, 41. So I don't know. It's a low number. If I was going to play it, I would tease it under 47. I think the Philly minus 1.5 is a better play than the total. Dart shouldn't do much. Barkley is fine. And they're coming off of a loss, which is probably the most important factor that you can see here is Philly's coming off of a loss. That's why it's critical to know who's coming off of a loss in the last week. Let's see, 103, 49.40 silver. We're headed for 50 very soon. 40.57 gold, up 77, headed for 5,000 basically. It'll just keep going because the only reason it was stopped before was COMEX had derivatives that were shorting it. Nobody was selling gold. That's why I'm saying gold should be 10 times its value because you've had you've had this whole option bullshit from COMEX pushing the price down. But now that's just about gone, I feel, because they have to cover it, which they can't do. So now all you see is the price going up every day. And there's no down. There's no option shorting it, knocking the price down. Nobody in their right mind selling it. You do not profit take this, not like stocks. So it just keeps going. So people own it and they're just going, oh, let's see it go up, and new people are buying it, but nobody's selling it. It's a perfect thing. Can you help me with the survivor pick this week? I suppose I could. I can be nice. What is your pick? I don't. The survivor. Do you use points or you just pick the game even? Pick one winner each week. Can't be. Yeah, I know, but I don't know what you've already picked. And are they? Is it an even thing or is there points? Thank you, Titus. So what's available, Nick? That because I know you've already picked. We're in week 6, so there's 5 teams you've already played that we can't play. So I need to know that. So I need that to know what your survivor pick is. If I just superficially just pick one, see, you would pick Denver over the Jets, but this London shit. I'd say Indy over Arizona is probably a good one if you haven't picked Indy. Washington over the Bears would be another one. So again, I don't know what's open to me. Denver, you got to be careful with this whole London crap. That would be a good one. It's really, you're just betting against the shit teams like Tennessee, New Orleans, something like that. I have to go through my picks one sec. Need to get this 18 parlay this weekend, Professor. Yeah, it'd be nice. You can't use Cincy, Dallas, Pitt, Buffalo, Detroit. All right. Well, I gave you Washington and I gave you so you're lucky you already used Cincinnati up. So Washington's one. Let's see. Yeah, I'd say Indy. I'd say Indy and or Washington. You've already used Pitt. Yeah. Dallas over Carolina, but you've already used Dallas. So, yeah, I'd say those two. Philly over the Giants, possibly, but it's a Thursday night game I'd stay away from. So there you go. Washington is strong or Chargers. The problem with the Chargers, they're traveling to Miami and Harbaugh. So if the game was at home, maybe. But look what Washington did going to San Diego last week. They just beat the shit out of them. They get the Bears, and Caleb Daniels will make him look like a 5-year-old. So either though, Indy's appears to be very strong, and they're playing Arizona, who's absolutely terrible. Arizona hasn't beaten anybody, right? New Orleans, Carolina, and then Tennessee, and they couldn't even beat Tennessee. There's no excuse. They should have been way up in the game, but to intercept and kick it into the end zone and then they recover for a touchdown. Boy, if that wasn't fixed, I don't know. I love how people say football's not fixed. I'm like, are you kidding me? So you're telling me these players are this stupid and that it's not fixed, that they're just idiots? The blocked field goals, where did that come from? Who's the guy that missed? What was it? Green Bay, I think, against Dallas. Their kicker, get rid of him. Jesus, he sucks. Um, well, that's not exactly. There's a lot of these games are fixed. It's easy to fix with the kicker and mostly the referees. All the penalties. San Diego goes to the Giants. Believe me, that was fixed. That's what leads me away from Philly because it's Thursday night, although I think Philly wins. I'll bet Philly, but not in a Survivor. Survivors are easy, especially if there's no points. It's very easy to find it. The problem is the duplicate. I can't use this team again. So many fixed games. It's really disgusting the way they are fixing it. It's mostly the refs because the refs don't get paid anything. So the ref's the one guy you go after. I was watching the movie, my favorite movie, the Gambler with James Caan, and I just love seeing when they go to Vegas. It's 1973, and they're at the dunes because there's a poster that says something, and it says the dunes, and it says 1973. And he really was a terrible gambler. He had no idea. He makes 13 passes at the row at the crap table, but I didn't see him 7 out. Then he goes and plays roulette, and he hits 12,000, but I didn't see him keep playing. And then he goes and plays backrack, and I saw him quit after hitting a natural 8, winning 3 in a row. That's all they showed. Why are you quitting then? And then the blackjack, he doubles down on 18 and gets a 3. No. You're not leaving the table now. You're just settling in. I don't know why he doubled that. He had $1,000 out there bet in 1973 money. He's got 18, just hit. And if it hits, fine. But you didn't need to double it. So he doubles and gets the 3, and then he quits. Are you kidding me? If I double down on 18, hit a 3, I'm never leaving that table. I'll be there for a month. You've got to be kidding. That's what you're waiting for is the streak. You don't leave in the middle of that. And then he loses all the money playing basketball, betting basketball. It's like, what a fucking idiot, man. Bet $1,000 a game in basketball. You don't bet 15,000 a piece. And then he tries to get even. He loses 45 grand on the 3 basketball games. And if you haven't watched the movie, and I'm just kind of glossing it, and then he makes a $50,000 bet on the Lakers over Seattle to get even. So now he's betting to get even. You just made all this money at the casino in Vegas, and you blew it. But the best part of the movie is the Stardust sign. They show the strip in 1973, and there's nothing on it. It's gas stations. It's the Rose Bowl bookie. There's just gas stations and Howard Johnson's, and there's this Stardust sign, and it just, the dust comes up and it turns the sign blue, and it just gives me chills. That's what Vegas has lost. I mean, that's why they don't have people going, is that whole color and pageantry of it. It's very exciting. And you've taken that out and you can't replace it. I've got the guy who's in charge of MGM, the CEO, in LinkedIn, and I'm burying the guy. I go, "You're a fucking idiot. When are you gonna step down? You're ruining the MGM." I go, "It's clear you don't know what you're doing, do you? You have no idea. You're just raising prices and you have no customers, and you want to tell me that you have record earnings with no customers?" Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Okay. I believe you. But that's what happened. So it was such a nice place in 1970. I was there in 1968. I was just a kid. My family was going to San Francisco, and we were seeing Willie Mays was playing. We went to a Giant game, but it was so going through Vegas. I was able to stand not in the casino, but on where the slot machines were. My dad was playing, and we were in Caesars. It was just great. It was like all the lights and all the money, all the numbers. It was just great. That was 1968. Oh God. But even 73 was nice. And I couldn't go till 79. when I was 18. No, 78, I think. I was 18. And very colorful. The color and the numbers, and you could play $2 blackjack. It was just beautiful. Anyway, that's what's going on. So good luck on the football bets. Again, I go through every game. They're not all my picks. They are a guide to who I think should win or the way I would bet the game, but they're not my picks. I do that because people think, oh, I'll just bet, these are his pick. Well, they're not. Now, some of them will be my picks. I mean, I got to pick some of them, right? But that's where it's at. And you just go from there and try to isolate it. And you got to check the injuries, which I'm not sure I can get. And today's Wednesday, so I'll post probably tomorrow. And yeah, I got to post the Philly. I was happy the Tigers lost yesterday. I looked at the game; it's 4-1. Then it goes 8-1 in the ninth inning, and then of course the Tigers score when they're down 8-1. They don't score when they had like 3 hits. Then they got a couple of hits in the ninth when it's 8-1. Right, that's the Tigers for you. But I can't wait till I hope they lose today and it ends. And no more of this Scooble shit. He pitched Sunday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think they would fly back to Seattle Thursday. He'd probably pitch Friday. So I hope Seattle takes him out. Well, even if they do, they're up 2-1. Oh no, the series would be 2-2 if they lost today. So look for Seattle to get another 10 runs. The Tigers pitching so bad. The manager's terrible. He'll pull the pitcher in the 3rd inning. They got Casey Mize going today. He sucks. They had Joe Flaherty going yesterday, and he lasted 3 innings. So that's the problem. The pitchers will go 3 or 4, and the bullpen sucks, and he keeps with the bullpen. But this is against a good team. They beat Cleveland because they had 2 hitters that hit over 200. Seattle's got about 8 of them. Their whole team hits, and Detroit can't handle that. They're just mismatched, and Detroit doesn't hit. People wonder why isn't Detroit hitting? Because they're chokes. They're not very good, and you've got a lot of 220 hitters that are disguising as 260 hitters because they never face the opposite. They got a lefty who only faces righties, and righties only face lefties. Well, that's make-believe world. That's not real world. The real world is the lefty hits lefties and righties. Willie Mays hit righties, still hit 350. Titus, get on board for this weekend. TK going to sweep the board. Well, I hope so, Titus. I know it'll be a good week. Things are becoming much more in line, and the division's much easier. Where I'm not sure week 3 who the team is. By now, I'm pretty sure most of these games, and that's about it. So I got to narrow it down. I'll write down all the teams that are available to bet, and then I really like this one and I really like that one. Like Oklahoma, Texas, that's already that's a good underplay. So that's your free play anyway. And we'll go from there. So anyway, that's what's happening. So have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. I might actually go to the doctor and get this hack taken care of. I keep thinking I'll fast or it'll go away. And I've had it a week and a half, and it's gotten worse than better. So we'll see. Go over that last ticket I sent you. Oh, on the last week? Okay. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, but I can't believe I thought you won the TCU on the teaser one you did. So anyway, I'll take a look at it. All right. www.teaserking.com. Have a good day, good weekend. And we will leave you with this picture. Gold at, yes, You were reading it right. 40.54, silver 49.42. This is the one when we get this over 50, you'll double, it'll go to 100. This is already, I was buying it at 15, 1600. I was happy when it got over 2000. Really happy when it got over 3. Now 4, and here comes 5, and really there's nothing to stop it. So keep that in mind. If you can buy more, if you have to buy quarter ounces and tenth of an ounce, you don't have to buy the ounce. Believe me, if you take 1/10 ounces, the guy will give you the same as 1 ounce, right? They still work. You're welcome, Titus. All right, you won. That's good. The teaser won, Professor. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I know you had a lot of W's and then you didn't W that one. And I was like, well, no, that's a winner. That one's a winner. I didn't see the whole ticket. But anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. Feel good. I'll figure out how many locks I have. Pros, I've got those figured out real nice with the teaser trends and just looking at the teams. A lot of good teams in teaser. We'll talk about those tomorrow. I got to run to the library. I might run to the doctor. I'm just tired of hacking. It's when it gets bad is when you hack and you see stars. That's when I get scared. All right. All right. Well, have a good day. I think that's it. www.teaserking.com. All right. Be good, everybody. If you need to email me, email me. It's on my Teaser King site on the homepage. All right. Ciao. Have a good day.